Good evening, Club Cult. She hath returned. Welcome to the stream, the Dreams Project. And thank you all so much for your support with Voya's care costs so far. I'm very grateful, girly. We are going on a kitty cat and foster friend tour tonight. Which reminds me, where did I put those purr pops? Because I wanted to give some to Tank. I think I see them up there. And pull us out of purgatory here. Uh-oh, Zeke, what do you see? Get it. Whatever it is, get it. Don't just leave it. Be a real cat. Be a real cat, Zeke. You can do it. Welcome, Talum. We are now free to move about the chat room. Whoa! Oh my god, I'm gone for like 4 days and my entire dashboard changed. I just refreshed the page. It's all different. I need a moment to take this in. Do I need to worry about that? No. Do I need to worry about that? No. Do I need to worry about that? No. Oh, it's the same thing. It's just, like, more fanciful. Okay. That makes sense now. That was concerning. Hello, Gunther. Would you like to say hello to everyone? You have a booger in your nose. My goodness. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope the night has been kind to you so far. I hope the weekend's been good to you. Has it been nice by you? It was very nice here this weekend. My nose is pink. We can't see it because my lights are really bright because I'm trying to trick myself into daytime. My nose is pink. My freckles are coming out. Left my mirror on the desk. Gunther, you have a booger. Oh, you're... you're going all the way around and it was here. It. He. Gunther, you're not an it. I mean, technically you are because you're neutered, but... The face of don't pick my nose, Mom. I love you. I was talking about you at work today. It's been rainy by you? Oh, no. Is that... No, you're past me. I think it's supposed to rain in Chicago this weekend. I don't know. Someone said something about it today, but last I looked 2 days ago, there was no rain coming. Boo. Rain means you gotta cut the grass, and we don't like that. Oh, Monday it's supposed to rain. Oh, wait, I guess that is tomorrow. Today feels like Saturday, so tomorrow I'm gonna pretend it's Sunday. Oh, God, and then it's gonna rain all Friday forward. Boys. Zeke, Gunther is an old man, and he does not want yo drama. I will shame you in front of the millions. Just kidding. Kind of. Alright, go off. Go off, King. Show everyone how stinky you want to be. Yeah, you're not going to do it now, huh? This is what they should do for children. I think that's why, like, at least 30% of social media exists. Honestly. Zeke, stop writing checks with your mouth that your ass can't cash. Zeke wants to play with Gunther right now, and Gunther doesn't want to play. Oh, you decided to be Heidi about it. Okay. Heidi, hi. Loady, low. Crazy babos. Yeah, public shaming them on stream. When your kids start arguing, just turn on Instagram Live. You're gonna have to punish them. That's what the internet's for. Oh, that's horrible. Don't actually do that. I'm being facetious in, like, a nasty way. Don't anyone actually do that. That's not nice. Protect the children. Stop stinking around. And then Mommy wants to go see PB. Zeke! Come here. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, boy. Oops. Boys are silly. Put up with enough drama today. Enough drama today. Oh my god. Okay. We're in this mode of parenting now. We'll just wait. We'll just wait. He doesn't want that. You're smacking his ass. He didn't ask for that. Oh my god. I think Zeke just gets a rise out of annoying Gunther, honestly. Because when Gunther's playful, Zeke is just like, half-hearted. I think Zeke just enjoys getting a rise out of Gunther as a game. Now you're gonna lay down and be chill. Okay. They're over it. Onwards. Onwards and upwards. We're gonna go love on PB, and then we're gonna bring Tank some Purr Pops. And then we're going to go see the dude. The doodly doodly dude. Actually, I wanted to look this up first. And then we're gonna meet Claudia. Lincoln got adopted, and then I got another foster. Children of the corn. My god. Calm down. Calm down. Just calm down. It's been a long day, boys. Dude has something going on. Fluffies. He's getting eye drops for right now. And I wanted to look up what the hell it actually means. I don't remember what the word is. What is the word for when a cat's hair grows into his eyelid? I thought it was entropion. Oh, it is. Okay, that's the word I was told. Why didn't this copy? You stink. Ah, that makes sense. Like, how could he have, like, survived and had his eye open outside for however many years he did with a wonky eyeball like that? So his hair is, like, growing into his eyelid, and that's why he looks, like, kind of like this. He is a pirate. I thought it was just upper respiratory infection that he was fighting off, but that got him, too, so I have to pick up meds for him tomorrow. But scarring from previous injuries or infections, which he has, they believe the swelling, like what feels like thickness to me, like not necessarily a mass, just thick tissue between his eyes and ears. Like if I had cat ears, like this. Here. It's just scar tissue. So scarring, that makes sense. Aww. Does he have the herp? So if the drops don't work, he might have to have his eye removed. Could be many causes. Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the cult. It is whatever you want it to be, baby. As a choose your own adventure, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here tonight. I hope the weekend has been kind to you. Will I spell this right? Zeke, stop fucking with Gunther.
Entropion is a disorder in which the eyelid border slides inward, causing eyelashes and fur to brush against the eye surface.
Because this is the content that we signed on for tonight.
At any age, although it is
the resilience of street animals, indeed. Like Tank. Tank's hips aren't even attached.
which can cause an eye infection or damage to the eye surface.
Like, what?
Corneal ulceration.
It's incredible.
Entropion treatment.
It really is, like, such a testament to, like, the mentality of being an animal, though. Dog, cat, squirrel, bird, whatever. Like, they don't think about what's causing them pain or what's bothering them. Like, yes, they're focused on survival living outside 100%, but they just go on with their day. Like, they don't feel sorry for themselves like people do, or, like, get in their own head about it. They just keep on keeping on. Tank is my hero.
It is typically a mix of eye medicines and surgical correction of the inward rolling of the eyelids.
Oh, medicine might correct it. I'm gonna fix my top. My string is in my armpit.
Entropion causes the
It's gonna bug me.
eyelashes and the fur on the eyelid to rub against the surface of the eye, causing irritation to the eye membranes, conjunctiva, or damage to the cornea.
Conjunctiva. It's an interesting
Entropion
word.
can develop in either the upper eyelid or the lower eyelid, but is most common in the lower lid in cats. Entropion typically occurs in young cats.
Oh, I was looking at his top lid trying to figure it out. I'll look at the bottom.
Any age cat can
So
become
that's
affected.
fun face.
Entropion is hereditary when it is caused by breed-related facial features, such as in the Persian, Himalayan, and Burmese breeds. This can also be
He's
referred
street
to
cat.
as
I don't
primary
think
entropion,
he's
meaning
a-
that it is related
it's from
to the
breeding.
breed characteristics and was not caused by another
It's a
eye
street
problem.
boy.
Causes of entropion in cats. In young cats, entropion is most often caused by chronic squinting from eye infections, which is called spastic entropion. Kittens commonly get eye infections from viruses and bacteria which cause painful conditions like conjunctivitis and corneal ulcers. The eye pain causes intense squinting, which eventually causes the eyelid edge to flip inward, resulting in entropion. The rubbing fur from the entropion often worsens the eye pain, causing even more squinting and worsening of the entropion, leading to a vicious cycle of pain and further damage.
Oh,
In elderly cats, entropion most often develops due to the
I
eye
know
symptoms
like
of
squinting is a symptom of it, but I thought him squinting was like helping it heal, like protecting himself. I don't know, kind of like when we get like an eye injury. I don't know. I got a piece of mulch in my eye when I was a kid from the playground, and I had to have my eye covered for like 24 hours or something.
the eye socket. As cats age, they lose fat and muscle from behind their eye, leading to the sunken appearance of their eyes. As the eye sinks, the eyelid edge is also
My
sunk.
dad was really happy to
Eventually, the sunken
leave work
eyelids
for
flip
that.
inward, resulting in entropion. The irritation from the eyelid fur often causes more squinting, and the
I
entropion.
was literally just running around in the
Cats that
playground.
are brachycephalic,
Like, I just don't have
meaning
good
they
luck.
have short noses and bulgy eyes like Persians, Himalayans, and Burmese can have entropion related to this facial conformation. The short nose and bulgy eyes cause crowding below the eye, pushing the inner.
Thankfully,
lower
you
eyes
don't
towards
have
the
that,
eyes,
Gunther.
leading to
You
the
just
worsening of
have
the margin
big
and
wide
entropion.
eyes.
Entropion can also be a developmental condition seen in young, unneutered male cats of the larger cat breeds, such as
I
Maine.
do.
These cats
I
tend to
have
very
the
large
best luck
eyelids
with
tissue,
many
and this can cause
things.
the lower eyelids
I have
to
the
be
worst
pushed
luck
upwards
with
towards
other
the eyes,
things. There's
leading
no
to
in
entropion.
between. I don't have medium
Symptoms of
luck.
entropion in cats. Entropion causes the fur to rub on the eye surface from the inward rolling of the eyelids, causing irritation and ocular pain. Symptoms
You
often
eating
include
now instead of annoying him?
some of the
Typical
parents
little
include
brother.
the raised third eyelid, pawing at the
And I
eye.
feel like if there are people, because Gunther's going to be 14, I think. Yes, he's going to be 14 this year. And Zeke is going to be 6 this year. That's like if they were human children, like the average age range for them really, really annoying each other. You've got a teenager and a kindergartner.
Increased tearing, epiphora, or mucoid eye discharge. Red, puffy eye membranes, conjunctivitis. Haze or cloudiness to the cornea.
He
if
is
the
an
corneal
old
ulcers
man,
occur.
but he's my
Entropion
old
can
man.
develop in one eye or both eyes depending on the cause, and the eyes
He's
may
such
have
a good
different symptoms
boy.
if one eye is worse. Since these symptoms can develop with many different eye
He
diseases,
made me
it is
so
very
sad last night. I caught him staring. I walked into the room, and Voya's ashes are above my bed in here now. And he's sitting next to Voya's ashes. And I'm like, oh, buddy, you miss him too? And then motherfucker looks up at them. My phone screen is disgusting. It's covered in dog dander. It felt so
by
bad.
a veterinarian soon after symptoms start. Entropion is diagnosed during a complete eye
Sad.
exam, which will also likely include a specialized green dye, fluorescein stain, test to check your cat's eye for a corneal ulcer from the entropion. Hello. This video
He
is
did get a
sponsored by
tear
Women's
test
Health.
like
Are you
Pippi
looking
did.
for high-quality cat collars at an affordable cost? Check out. Entropion is most often treated with eyelid surgery. While there are a few different techniques,
I wonder if
entropion
recovery
surgery
would be
involves
like the
removing a
same as
small red or
Pippi's.
smile-shaped piece of fur and skin from below the abnormal eyelid margin. When this area is stitched closed with delicate sutures, the eyelid margin is pulled away from the eye, flipping
Welcome,
it back
Dogs
into the normal
Rule.
position.
Hope you're having a good
Entropion
weekend so
surgery
far.
in cats has a very good success rate.
Cheers.
Your vet may recommend delaying entropion surgery if your cat is a young, larger breed male cat because sometimes they will grow out of it. Eyelid filler injections.
He's
Very
male,
recently,
but not
veterinary
young.
ophthalmologists
Like
have
I don't think
reported
he's
using
old. His
hyaluronic
teeth
acid
look too
eyelid
good
filler
to be young,
injection,
or his
or
teeth look
polyzylic
too good to be
injections
old.
To treat eyelid entropion in elderly cats. This technique is appealing as it is usually performed
Double
by
cheers.
which can be less expensive and
Good
less
call.
risky for older
I haven't
cats.
drank enough
The
water
outcome
today.
is much harder to predict and control. However, as compared to traditional surgical correction, antibiotics.
Just slamming coffee.
Antibiotic medications are often used in cats with
much
entropion
coffee.
to prevent a bacterial infection from developing, especially if there is a corneal ulcer. Sometimes pain medications are recommended even without surgery, but it is important to note that these are given by mouth. There are no pain-relieving eye drops for cats. Your vet may use a numbing eye drop during the eye exam, but this cannot be used as an ongoing treatment for pain. Entropion surgery cost for cats. The cost of entropion surgery depends on a few main factors. Your
So much
geographic location
coffee.
or cost
We had
of
really good dogs today,
whether the
though.
surgery is
Yesterday,
performed by a
everyone
general
pooped and
practice vet
peed.
or a board-certified
Well,
veterinary
I'm about
practice.
to counter my
Is
last
one eye
statement.
unilateral
And
or
today,
both eyes
everyone just
bilateral
wanted to
research?
bite
How
or be
complicated
whiny.
an entropion surgery is required for repair?
Big
Generally
babies
speaking,
today.
routine entropion surgery for one eye performed by a general practice vet would range
Yesterday,
from
almost
$300
literally
to
every
$2,000.
dog pissed and shit in the
Entropion
crate.
surgery performed
It's
by
like,
a
why?
board-certified veterinary
Why?
ophthalmologist may be upwards of
Why?
$2,000 or more, especially if the entropion is severe or requires extensive reconstruction.
I think for once in my life, I'm actually all booped out. I
booped.
booped so many
Some
noses today.
veterinarians will also
The last
indicate
dog was a
that
very
both
stubborn schnauzer. She was a little puppy, and she was kind of nippy. So I was just booping all around in her face while she was being finished up. I think I used up the last of my boops.
Entropion in cat's recovery. After entropion
It's like
surgery,
woo
for
woo
the
woo
cat, a
woo
few
woo
things are to be
woo
expected.
woo, making Three
Your cat may have
Stooges
a
sounds
small
at
incision
her.
on the eyelid skin with stitches in the
You
skin.
gotta do what you gotta do.
Mild swelling and redness around the incision are normal for a few days after surgery. Your cat will need to wear a hard, plastic Elizabethan collar to prevent anything from touching or rubbing against the incision or
When my nose
causing
stops
damage
being
on the
red,
eye.
yes.
This is usually just for a few days, but
Because
you
I
can
go out and
identify
get
exact time.
sunshine when the
Your
other
cat
girl
will need
goes out to
medications,
smoke,
usually 2 to
and I
3
keep
times
forgetting to put
after entropion
sunscreen
surgery
on.
for 1 to 2 weeks. Medications for pain and inflammation are
Usually I
usually
put it
given
on
by
before I
mouth
walk
for a
the
few days after
dogs, but the
entropion
dogs
surgery.
have been walked in the
As with any
evening
surgery,
now.
it is important to monitor closely
And I
for
keep
signs of
forgetting to
infection
do it in
from
the
the incision
morning.
along the eye. Signs to watch for
I'm
include
freckly and I have a
excessive swelling or
pink
redness of the incision.
nose.
Pus-like
I can
discharge
feel
from the
all
incision
over my
along the
face.
eye.
My skin is like
Squinting,
tight.
which is getting worse than before surgery. Redness and puffiness to the eye membranes that is worse.
So I'm sure I got a little bit of sun like all over. I can feel it in my arms, my legs a little bit. I wore capris today. Capris don't look good on anyone, but they're efficient.
Entropion in elderly cats from sunken eyes can't really be prevented. However, some research has shown that both eyes should have surgery even if the entropion is only in one eye. For the eye without entropion, an eyelid shortening surgery
freckles are
performed at the same
prominent.
time can prevent entropion from
They're very
developing later on.
prominent.
Most often seen in either young kittens
Lights
with
hide
infections
them,
and chronic
but they are
skin or
very
elderly
out
cats with
to play.
sunken eyes due to weight loss and muscle loss.
And my
Entropion
arms
requires
too when I
medications
look
to prevent
down.
bacterial infection and corneal ulcers.
Oh my god.
Entropion is usually best
I've gotten a
used
lot
in
of sun. Like just driving.
If you enjoyed this video, kindly
The
press
difference
like button.
between my arms
Also,
is
don't
kind of
forget to subscribe with
ridiculous.
notifications on, so that you
My
don't miss
left
out on
arm is
videos
pretty
like this.
toasty from
Thank you for
driving.
watching.
And my right arm is a little toasty, but still palish. But like big difference in toastiness. I'm like a Siamese cat. I toasted. Okay, we learned. Let's go see PB. Capris are very in the laundry because they're very covered in dog hair. Although almost all of the dogs today got special conditioner with their little grooming package. So I have some special conditioner in my hair because what do dogs do in the tub? They shake. My hair is super soft today and it's nice. Where is the go cam? On the go cam. Peebs o'clock. Peebs o'clock. Can we really even? Oh yeah, we can tell. Dang. And I have trucker's tan because I'm white from there. What am I supposed to do? Just constantly swap in between bikinis and clothes for the rest of my life? Apparently. It's not the worst life you could live. Go, Cam, go. Go, 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 go. was a shout out to you said something. Oh my god. It's visible on my shoulder too, just a little bit. Oh my god. I wore a tank top today. The sun must have been really intense today. Wow. Holy shit. I feel like when you get sunburned though, it doesn't look that bad right away, and like as the evening falls, then it becomes very like visible. I knew I could feel my skin being tight. Wow. I'm also very vascular today. I don't know what's going on with that. Turn on. Thank you. Doot, doot. Doot. Dehydration? Possibly. But I was super hydrated yesterday. I think I drank like 1.5 gallons, if not more. I usually drink about 1 gallon a day. And I was super vascular yesterday too. That intense physical activity though. Thank you. Cheers. This is only the last liter, roughly, of my gallon of the day just now. Can you have cuddles? Bro, you are about to see so many fucking cats you can cuddle. You have no idea. You will be overwhelmed. Buried in cuddles. Buried. You boys being nice now? Yeah, Gunther's licking his nethers. He sat like Winnie the Pooh on the bed, just blurp. Love that for him. Yeah, purried. Exactly. Purried. Purried in pussy. I was trying to think of something less dirty and more cute, but nothing came to mind. We're gonna lose audio for a sec while I flip us over. That was a really pleasant face that I just made. Gunther, now we see you licking your nethers. My goodness. My goodness. I wonder what if and what put together for first and Harley tomorrow. I haven't planned anything, but I want to do it. That means I gotta figure something out. And I lost my cheat sheet. They deleted the Tumblr post or whatever it was. Sad. Give me versions of Harley. Even if I've done them before, but only if I haven't done them in a while. Purried in puddles of pittance. Oh wait, that would be more like Pittance would be like Tigra and actually just Tigra. He's a Pitton because he's a Pibble, but he's a Thundercat. Onwards! Maybe I need to refresh this. I don't think I can see redemptions in chat on the go. I'll be able to see subs and bits, but I don't think I can see redemptions. Because they haven't translated over. We're about to translate over. I don't know what I want to wear as a hoodie. What do we have out here? The one that's on the chair is the one I was wearing for pajamas, and I want to keep it for pajamas. Let's go see the beans. The beans! The peeps! Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the cult. It is whatever you want it to be, baby. To choose your own adventure, and thanks for taking the time to be here on this fine Sunday. I need to keep reminding myself it's Sunday. It feels like Saturday. It's confusing. Hello, peeps. I got the tripod super stuck on the door. Hello, stinky lady. Did your bird TV turn off? No, I just turned it down because it was annoying me. We love bird TV, right? Yes. Peeps says, love me. She was very unhappy with me this weekend. She said, Mom, this is not what I'm not paying you for. Baby girl, I love you. Hello. Hello. Peeps missed you guys too. She's just a little scrump. She's just a little scrumpy scrump. She's just a little scrumpy scrump. I love you, princess. I love you. I think the new routine is stressing her out a little bit. I think the new routine is stressing everyone out a little bit, including me. But we should be well adapted in a good amount of time. It's a baby. Days that I don't work, or let me rephrase this. I have more to share when my brain works, which will not be tonight. But on days that I don't work, I think instead of 4:30, I'm just gonna wake up at 6 and grab a few extra Z's. It's a baby. And then we'll be a little bit off routine, but I don't think 2 hours will be too disruptive for them to change. She is the cutest little thing. The cutest little thing I ever did see. Why are you giving me your butt? I don't want your butthole. What is it with cats and butts? Why? Why? Her and Diesel Army crawl the same way. My brain works. You are correct. It just doesn't always work at 100% capacity. And tonight, I. Let me rephrase that as well. I have taken in so much this weekend that I need to sort it out in my head before it comes out of my mouth. I need to understand and have understanding before I can explain. Or share, rather. Tonight we're at 5%. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. 4:30. So I guess tonight is a beta test of can you do it all on... I did get a good amount of sleep. 6 hours and 18 minutes of sleep. Can you? Can you? Aw, Peeves is snuggling you guys. She curled into the tripod. Come here. What you doing, Scrump? What you doing? What you doing? You're just being real cute. Okay, bye. No free butts. No free butts. You coming back around and over? Yeah, you little creeper. Come here, BB. Come here. She was out and about when I got home from work. And I actually got off early today, which was nice. I got off around 4 instead of 5. And I let her out to have some free time. And then I got texted from someone who also volunteers where I'm fostering. And someone needed to lend a trap to someone else because a foster cat got out of the foster house. So I went to a town that's 20 minutes away that I've never heard of before. It's just small. I don't know. It's like a village, not a town. Make it make sense. I don't really know what the differences are. So there was even more to do. So I was like, well, I can lend my trap. I just need it back, eventually. But I can run over there and lend it. And she's like, do you live anywhere near blank? And I'm like, I have no idea. I've never heard of that place. And I punched in the GPS and I'm like, oh, I'm 20 minutes away. I'll be right there. And then I came in here and I was still putting my hoodie on to leave the house. And you thought, oh no, Mom's putting on a jacket and we're going to the vet. And then she ran all over the place and I had to chase her down. And eventually I had to grab her from under the dresser because she was under the dresser. She's like, we're going to the vet. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Her and Voya are the same that way. If they see shoes or purse or like change of clothes or jacket, it's like, oh no, we're going to the vet. Time to hide. Time to hide. Time to hide. Today was not a day of thoughts. Today was a day of doggos. It was the day of doggos. Bloop, bloop. They said they get a lot of cats, and I guess a couple weeks ago when I first like interviewed and everything, they were saying that they have a lot of cats there, and they just had a lot of cats there this week. And I was kind of bummed this weekend that there was no cats, but realistically, the cats won't be back for another haircut for like 2 months. So there'd be an influx of kitties at work in like 2 months. I'm excited. I'm excited. Yes. Yes, I am. Little scrump. I love her little trills. You forgot where you parked your car last night? Oh no! You pulled a Serena. Unless I insanely try to remember, I never remember where I park. You pulled a Serena. Don't do that. Be better. Be better than me. I hope you found it. Otherwise, you gotta go look for it, little PB. You gotta be PB the detective. Do, 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 do. She likes like being manhandled. I'm petting her so rough, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's the stuff. That's the stuff. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah." Forgot you took an Uber home last night. Wait, you left your car, or you didn't drive it in the first place? Oh, now I need context. Hello, baby Stinky. He makes me feel any better though. When I was driving to give the trap this evening, I hadn't caffeinated after work. I was like going into my calm zone, relax, take care of the zoo, get ready for stream zone. And I was driving on like a back road kind of that felt like I was in southern-ish Illinois. And I went to check my speed and I looked at the wrong part of my dash because if I were driving that far, I would not be driving my car. I would be driving a rental, which would be newer, which would digitally tell you your speed lower on the dash. And I looked at the wrong part of my dash. Like my brain literally thought for a moment I was in a rental car, not my car. You left your car. You abandoned it. Go get it. Don't just leave it there. Go get it. Go fetch. Go fetch. I don't blame you for that though. How are you gonna find it? Do you have an AirTag or like a GPS thing or like OnStar or something? Does that even locate things? I think OnStar does. Is that even still a thing though? I don't see ads for it or like ever hear it talked about anymore. Peepers. You're so cute. You're so cute. I feel like the most big head right now. There we go. Baby Stinky. Baby boop boop boop. We need Find My Car, like Find My Phone. Peavy, you do need to be a detective and go look for it. Go find it. Go find the car. Go find it. No, no, not love mom. Go find it. Go find it. Go find it. Go. She's like, no thanks. Welcome, welcome, Funeral Leech. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Welcome. Got done driving Uber last night, met up with friends, and you went bar hopping to multiple locations, so you had to remember which spot you drove to. Oh no. It's like playing reverse car charades, my god. OnStar is still a thing. You used it to remember you needed to go. Hell yeah! Go OnStar for still existing and not even advertising anymore. It must be good then. It must be good. It's just like a subscription service, right? It's like built into the car. I don't know. My car is too old for that. My car is a grandpa car, literally. Literally, peebs. I love you. I love you. I missed you so much today. I'm just trilling up a storm. You're silly. You're silly. Are your bowls full? Like 99% sure that, oh, I forgot to grab Tank's Purr Pops. 99% sure that everyone's all taken care of for the night except Gigi. Can have so many functions to include Wi-Fi. That's awesome! Why did I never opt? Oh, I didn't know that. I should have opted into that for rentals. That would have been so much better for streaming. Ooh. Oops. Oops! Instead, when I drove to Texas, I just, oh, you're stuck! Yo, hold on. Oh my fucking god, are you fucking shitting me? She just got her toenail stuck, her claw stuck in this part of the USB. This hole. Now she just hit the tripod, but because I have the phone charger just hanging down for when I need it. Oh my god, that was terrifying. Lady ma'am. And now this is what she's doing. She was spinning around it in circles like that. Yeah, like that. Head empty, no thoughts. And now it's bath time. Oh, back around. Oh, roll over. Roll over, Beethoven. You're an idiot. I love you. Creeper. Come here, creep. Come here, creep. PB takes after you for unexpected outcomes. That's true. I feel like we are very similar. She is my child. I don't know where she went. It's the only difference between us. You don't know where she went, but you know where I go. Home. And that's it. But I've got a few years on PB. She's still maturing. I once ran around like a crazy girl too, so. Oh wait, that sounds like I was promiscuous. I mean just like being a party animal and going on bake routes. That sounded very promiscuous. Peeps! Alright, give me a smooch. I'm gonna go see Tank. I'm gonna play some Star Wars before bed. Kiss me. Kiss me, you fool. Kiss me, you fool. She's like, yes, you are a fool. Come here. Well, fine. I love you too. Ugh. Ugh. My movement is unexpected. I think we expected me to fall on my roller skates, though. I don't think that one was unexpected. I think we hoped for the best, but, like, we're preparing for the worst with that. And, yeah. Yes, my ass is in my cat. Definitely. My cat does make an ass out of me. I'm gonna grab Purr Pops for Mr. Tank. I am abandoning you all. I want to give Dude one, but his nose is stuffy. So, like, do cats not taste things when their nose is stuffy like people? Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the cult. It is whatever you want it to be, baby. Choose your own adventure, and thank you for taking the time to be here tonight. Going on an adventure. Oh, wait, I have pockets. I don't need to put this in my teeth. Hell yeah. Ringo, are you done being a whiny butt? Ringo and Peavy are like the most bent out of shape with the new routine, understandably, because they both have tummy troubles. Everyone else is just kind of annoyed with me, like, Mom, when is meal time again? When do we get more food? When? Charlie keeps yelling at me. Sokka, don't do it. Don't do it. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. There you go. This hoodie is the best. Don't hate on the hoodie. I think we can all relate a little bit in some way. In this economy, that's the winning hoodie. Hello, Mr. Tank. What are you doing, boob? Unlike in the stream room, we can actually pause this fan for a little bit. Yay! What are you doing? Mr. Tank! Not as bad as you moving through a crowd, though. You do just fine with it. As someone who has moved through a crowd by your side, you do good. You do good. Hey, Mr. Tank, you do good too. Oh, Savinia! He's gonna get mad at me. I think, maybe. Oh. Do you love me? I love you. I love you. Tank says, yeah, I'm her man. Don't bite my face. I love you. I brought you something. He's like, let go of me. Let go of me. He's such a crotchety old man. I love him. It's cool in my house because it's summer here. So if I'm not in the stream room, like under what I call the lizard lights, like my big box lights, then I'm a little chilly. You've never had one of these, Tank. What do you think? How many licks does it take to get to the not Tootsie Roll center of the not Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop? I think we're on like, oh my god, he's drooling so big. Ew, look at that. That was, ow, like a cheese pull. I think he likes it. Do you like it? You're gonna take a whole big bite. How do you bite me so hard, but you bite this so gentle? Well, that worked. He was like, give me my snacks, woman. He does have the most beautiful eyes, doesn't he? He gorgeous. My handsome man. I think he likes it too. Do you want to lick the stick? There's still like a couple of crumbs on there. Let him chew on it like a dog. You needed a special treat for being patient with me this weekend. Yes. Okay, it's all done now. It's all done. It's garbage now. It's bye-bye garbage. It's bye-bye garbage. It goes in mom's pocket. It's bye-bye garbage. It's bye-bye garbage. I'm sorry. Now he's all zazzed up. Tank. You're zazzy. I have concerns. Be nice. It's like, let me get every last crumb from where it fell. Let me get all of it. He's such a fat kid. I love him. Such a good boy. Don't bite me, please. I love you. He's so zazzy. Ew, you have drool all over your mouth. That's disgusting, Tank. Ugh. That was pleasant. I love you, Biba. Come here and sit with me. Sit with me. Little goober. Little goober. I do suck down my coffee to every last drop. Tank loves his snacks and I love my caffeine. Come here, Stinky. Love me. Love me. Love me. Love me, love me, love me. We are both insatiable with our needs. Tank needs snacks, and I need coffee. Come here. Oh, you're such a butthole. I love you. Come here. Hey, silly goober. Hey, silly goober. I have mostly silly tattoos. I have an initial on my wrist. I have teardrops on both my fingers. So for my niece and nephew, because they'll cry me a river. Boo-hoo. I have the dark mark from Harry Potter, reformed Death Eater. Then I have a quote from the Giving Tree, my dog's paw print, and Artemis from Sailor Moon. I think that's it. Oh, Naruto. Hidden Leaf. I think that's it. Yeah, no more snacks, no love. We snuggled a little bit when I got back home again. But I thought you would want to spend time with me. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm just a mom trying to make it work, Tank. Doing my best. Oh, I see what he's after. He keeps looking at the door like something. Slavka's outside fucking around. She's fucking around and not finding anything out at all. Head empty, no thoughts. Tank. Love me. Come here. I love cats. They're so stubborn. Tank. 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 Shout his name like Wilson. Tank. He took 2 steps forward. We're getting there. Come here, friend. Come here, friend. What does the quote say? It's the, and she loved a little boy very much, even more than she loved herself. Even though my dog was a big boy, but still. If I leave the room, guarantee he'll jump on the bed right away. Yeah, buddy! Good boy, Tank. Good boy, Tank. He's a good man. He's a good man. He's a good man. Ow, stop biting me! He's upset with me for this weekend. It's like the 3rd time I've gotten bit by him today. He bit me this morning, he bit me this afternoon, now he bit me now. He's like nice about it, but like, I don't know how to describe it. He has like a gentle bite about it, but he's still like clamped down. So he's not like piercing your skin, but he's getting your attention. Oh my god, Tankers. Look at the smarmy boy. Smarmy. Smarmy. I want to pick up another one of those lick mats for dude. I think you would like it. It's gentle except for he does it like a dog, to where like he grabs and like he does a little with it. And that's where it kind of like adds a little bit of not pain, but like discomfort. It's a really big love bite. It's a love bite, but bigger. Tank's like, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything at all. I didn't do anything at all. Okay, do you want your toy on? I'm gonna go see Claudia. Go see Claudia and dude. Ah, thank you so much for the resub. Thank you for the 30 months. Thank you for being the awesome human that you are. Thank you for supporting the Stream of Dreams project. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tank, you have to do a happy dance now. Happy dance. Happy dance. Happy dance. It's like, but there's no more treats. Thank you. I appreciate you. Did my thing update? Maybe. Let's see upstairs. Update the board. That's what I think is the reason that he does it, is he gets overstimulated. He used to be a street cat. I've had him for almost 2 years now. 2 years as of July 18th. I think he came inside. So he's still learning house cat mannerisms, and he does get overstimulated. You are absolutely correct. Now it's bath time. He's such a little goob. We'll put you already got a snack. I'm gonna put your toy in. Spinnies. Spinnies. He does have such a glare, and him having like such heavy set eyes does not help. Alright, now we're really suiting up. If we complained about the hoodie, you guys just wait. Just wait. But wait, there's more. There's more. The onesie for in with Dude and a onesie for in with Claudia. Because Claudia has a cold. So we don't want to get her germs on anyone else. Especially not on Tank and Zuki and Gunther. Because immunocompromised. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Slap is just yelling at me because she wants more wet food. Slap the life. I'd love to have her life. I forgot to put shorts on Pippi. She's having some old lady days. Pippi, I gotta wake up. Need shorts on. Need shorts. I don't mean to embarrass you by doing this on the internet. But. He gave me the side eye when I said I was leaving him. Well, he should have given me the snuggles then. There's only one way to keep a Z-MILF pinned down. Pin her down. Pippi! Hi. I woke her up fast. Oopsies. Come here, Stinky. Come here, Stinky Butters. He's like, what the hell is going on? Someone woke me up and putting pants on me. Oh, okay, I smell her legs. That's Mom. Okay, it's okay. Mom did it. Okay. The dude. Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the cult. It is whatever you want it to be, baby. It's a choose your own adventure, and thank you for taking the time to be here tonight. Can I set us here? I'm sending you guys on the. No. I have the scale out because I had to weigh him again. He eats so good, but he's still only 12.5 pounds. I don't really know what's going on there. Peeps, you're just talking up a storm, darling. Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the cult. It is whatever you want it to be, baby. Choose your own adventure, and thank you for taking the time to be here tonight. Now we get our super suits. Honey, where is my super suit? I'll change my socks so I can put foot covers on too. Doop 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 doop. He finally came down with the upper respiratory infection that he's been fighting off since he's been here. My little foster friend. So technically, whatever germs he has already been kind of exposed to the zoo, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. But he should be done with his meds. I think he'll only have a week of it, and I'm picking them up tomorrow. And then Claudia should be done with her meds, I think, in 4 days. She's already doing a lot better. Miss Dude. Gotta do his meds, so I'm gonna have to use hand sanitizer. Not put on gloves. Burp, burp, burp. Hello, boy. Hello, boy. Are you maybe gonna be a pirate? Are you going to be a pirate? Hello, buddy. No. Does this balance up there? I don't remember. No. No. It does not. The dude! I present to you all, Club Colt. The duderoni. Dude. The duder. The doodle. Hello, baby boy. I love you. I gotta clean your eye and put meds in it. Hold on. Still be sleepy. It's easier to do your meds when you're sleepy. 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 Is it your bottom lid or your top lid? Oh, it might be the bottom one. I think it is the bottom one. Hi. He is so good. It is easier to do eye drops on him than any of my other cats. And he's been off the street for like, what, a week and a half now? He got his convenient shot when I picked him up, and today is day 12 of it, which is why he can only get antibiotics tomorrow. So I've had him for almost 2 weeks. What color are your eyes? My eyes are green. Sometimes they're a little bit like blue, yellow, greenish. I don't know, when they feel like being fancy, but otherwise they're just green. Hello. Hello, dude. A doot, doot, doot. We're still working on holds. He doesn't know how he feels about that yet. He was letting me do it until we went for another checkup, and I had to put him in the carrier, and now he's hesitant with me because I made him do the scary stuff. Mr. Dude. Can I make this any taller? I figured out if I do some funny stuff, I can still use my old tripod, and that one gets even taller. I might switch over to that at some point. Not tonight, but at some point. Hello, buddy boy. He finally started to purr the other night, too. He has such a tiny purr, it's like barely audible. I wonder if it'll get bigger. Never met a cat with such a small purr. Not even when PB was tiny. PB was like a big block motor when she was tiny. Mr. Dude. You're a very handsome boy. He keeps rubbing on the sink, and I'm afraid he's going to turn it on when I'm gone, like Charlie did in the kitchen. I don't know what to do about that. I tried putting like Tupperware over it, and he knocks that over. I don't know what to do. That would not be good, though. The sink doesn't drain well. So, like, it would overflow after enough time. Right? You gotta just not do that. How's that? Hello. I love you, Scruffy boy. He's so handsome. Turn the water off below. I kind of figured that was the solution, except I'm not supposed to. So I didn't know when I bought my house, like however many years ago, that you're supposed to turn those on, like the little toilet and sink and everything connector. Like you're supposed to exercise them yearly or on a somewhat frequent basis. And I never did that. And when the toilet had to be replaced, handsome man, it almost broke. And my plumber told me, under no circumstances should you exercise any of these because they will probably break and then I will be back here. Meaning my plumber speaking as me right now. So I can't do that. And I think that would be a bad idea. I don't think that would be a good idea. That would be the obvious solution. I need other solutions. We got to think outside the shut off box. Because I think it probably will break. I didn't know you were supposed to exercise those things. Oh my goodness. Hey, dude. Hey, dude. Wound is healing good over here. He's got medicine on it right now. The other side is completely all the way owie free. It's just naked now. It's just hair. It's still a little pink, but the wound is almost completely healed. Took a big chunk out of his neck. Like, look at that. That's crazy. This side is healing really well. He's doing so good. You're so handsome. You're such a scrump. He's a fluffy tank. He looks so much like him. Baby purrs. I don't think we can ever hear him purr. It's so quiet. It's so slight. Here, if I can really get him going, it's like sad, but it's cute. He full body like quivers because he's purring so hard, even though it's still so quiet. Aww, Deuterino. I love you. Yeah, it's unfortunately the obvious solution, but like not the best. I think he wants to have a self-care day. Like we'll do some eye masks. That's what he keeps leaning into. There's the sunscreen that I keep forgetting. Dude still has an upset tummy because he just got a round of dewormer and he's kind of recovering in his little baby tummy from that. So he really can't have too much treats. We don't want to vary his diet too much tonight. Within a couple weeks, he'll be able to be a treat man, I would think. Right now, he's just bread. But we're going to wash this tonight, and then he's going to be an avocado tomorrow. He'll be an avocado tomorrow. His eyes are so sad. This side is just swollen. The other side is owie. Sunscreen is much needed now. We can probably see in this light a little bit of pink and freckles on my nose. I also did a decent job on my makeup tonight, so good job, Serena. The freckles are out to play. It's freckle season. It's freckle season. Hello, beautiful boy. He's such a scrump. I love him so much. I love you so much. I want to work as hard as I can and adopt you. I love him. I love him so much. Baby purrs. They're like louder now because he's congested. Merp. His poor eye. He really doesn't. Oh, he doesn't have to have surgery. Dogs and cats eat grass when their stomach is upset because they know from thousands of years of evolution that grass is somewhat fibrous and it'll wrap around like whatever's hurting in their tummy and then they'll end up throwing it up. So it's their own way of knowing how to like regurgitate it. Like we'll just stick our finger down our throat, but they eat grass and oh, blurp blurp. Kind of part of the reason why like colic is so dangerous in horses too, because horses when they start to colic, they'll eat a bunch of extra and then it fucks up their insides more and it makes them more difficult to treat. But they want to eat because they can't throw up because it's colic. Hello, Paws. Hello, Paws. Hello, Paws. Can you rescue me and love me like this? I'll act like a cat. You have to be this fucked up to make it into my house. This is the standard. This is the top tier standard here. You have to be at least like you have to be at least this tall to ride this ride. You have to be at least this fucked up for me to save you. And love you and adopt you and keep you forever. Welcome, Midnight Dynamite. I hope the weekend's been kind to you. You're such a cute little scrump. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you. I love you. You're just a handsome little slice of bread. I love you immensely and intensely. Oh, uh-oh. Did I freeze or did this freeze? Oh no, I broke everything. Oh no, it's fine. Just kidding. Oh, I did freeze us though. Oops. You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. You're such a little scrump. Scrumpity bump bump, scrumpity bump bump, scrumpy scrumpy scrum. I didn't realize this auto focuses for stream. Go camera. He's been sneezing all over the bathroom mirror. Which, that's okay. I just need to clean it. But I just cleaned it. I just cleaned it, buddy. I just did. I don't need that reminder. I need to redo all of my reminders because they're all at the wrong time now. Aw, dog sitting nice. What kind of dog? Dude is doing pretty well, all things considered. He's eating good. He's pooping pretty good. He's a consistent peer. He drinks good. He's just like a little old man. He just wants to nap and get love and eat and go potty. Oh, see, his teeth don't look bad at all. His neck is healing up really good. The other side is fully healed. Just needs to have not dry skin and grow back his hair. Are you tired now? Is it nap time? Is it nap time? Those big old tomcat cheeks. Mirror needs a lot of cleaning. My whole house needs a lot of cleaning. Always does, always will. That's life. It's worth it. It's worth it. I mean, if I had kids, it'd be a lot dirtier. Can you imagine all the little, like, toothpaste spits that would be up there? I'm good. I barely spit my toothpaste into the mirror. I'm a good cat. Can I just fake my injuries? No, sorry. Because then I'm going to the vet with you for no reason and wasting money. Can't do that. And you can't be a cat with a job. Cat's your broke best friend. You're such a good boy. You are tired. He looks so cinematic right now, like he should have a movie made about his life or something. I think it's like the spotlight in the corner, and the way his ear hair is, and the way it's like reflecting off of him. You're just beautiful, dude. You're beautiful. You have boogies in your ears. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to take your ear booger. Did you not consent to that? Was that okay? Was that okay? Yeah, social battery is done. Time to go back to bed. Exactly, precisely. Like, he would be happy with me sitting here and petting him, like, all day, but I feel like he just wants his rest also. It's new to him still being indoors, like, lights on, life happening. He's a good boy. He's a very good boy. We love you, dude. And go see Miss Claudia. Get some clean hands and go see Miss Claudia. Claudia. Her name is Claudia, like Clawdia. She reminds me of like a Monster High doll. I think there's a Claudia in the Monster High dolls. My niece liked those a lot. She is so loving. She's about a year old. The only thing I can describe her as is somewhere between a baby kitten and a dog. Which, if anyone wants to adopt her, she does get along with dogs and other cats. She's a good kid. She requires like a lot more attention than I could give her long term versus like in the short term though. So she is not a serene option. but she's cute. Changed your font color, Tom. As life narrated by Morgan Freeman. Exactly. I would love to know his life story. Actually, no, I wouldn't, because then I would be upset, because he was definitely someone's cat once. This is not a feral cat. Like, this is a street cat, but this is not a born outside, semi-feral, unsocialized, any of that. He's a certified good boy. Yes, you are. You're a certified good boy. I love you. Okay. To Claudia we go. Over the river and through the woods, except it's over the gate and through the hall. Oh, I'm sore. We had the big dogs today, everyone else was small, was a very large silver golden, which those are pretty, but I think they're bred with Weimaraners, I think, to get that like silvery color. Because my godmother's uncle had one. He was bred with a Weimaraner and golden, and that's how they got the silver. And then we had 2 Cane Corsos, which are one of my favorite breeds. I was so happy. They were fat. Like, they weren't just big, they were fat. And holy moly, lifting into the tub. Oh my God. That was all of the strength and effort I had left. And thankfully, there was just a miniature schnauzer that I had to boop a bunch of times on the nose so she would be distracted. As the last dog. Which was a nice relief. It's nice to lift like 7 pounds instead of like $120 plus. Such dog shaming for chubby puppers. Like, I was so excited to see Cane Corsos because I love the breed, and then they didn't look like the breed, which they didn't have the cut ears, which I was glad for that. I like when they have the floopy ears, but they just looked like big fat pit bulls because they didn't have like the definition that I'm used to seeing in a supposedly purebred Cane Corso that's like fed well and exercised well, and like, yes, the dogs are very loved, clearly, because they're fat as fuck, but I don't know. The male one is my new favorite dog that comes in, though. He had such an old man face. He was salt and peppery. He was so sweet. I loved him. I kissed him. He was amazing. But they were fat. They're cool dogs. Here, while we're in the hallway real quick, I'll pull up desktop. They're beautiful dogs. I would love to have one day, but I need to be able to, like, I need to be retired and, like, devote my life to that dog. Let me flip us over for a sec. Oh, they're so beautiful. This is kind of what they look like, but like fat. So that one doesn't have the cut ears, which I like. And they had full tails too. Their tails weren't docked. That's how they look with the cut ears. Like, they look bad as hell. Love the Cane Corsos. I want one day. They're very like family protective. They're somewhat difficult to train because their instincts have been bred into them for so long and their mannerisms. But they're really nice dogs. Like, they're the most loving dogs. Damn, that's a big daddy. Friend of yours and your dad's are getting 1, possibly 2 German Shepherd puppies whose dad's 150 pounds. Damn. So photos of them, their paws are enormous. So I can't imagine how huge they'll be. At least as big as Ringo. There's a big dog. They're just so cool looking. I like them. Little buppers. They just look so bad as hell. When I was adopting backup, there was a Cane Corso at Animal Control. But it was a female and it was young. And that made me very uncertain of making that choice. I still think about that dog. But backup was perfect. No, the French is dead. The French is no more. That would be nice. Future French, one day. But not on these days. Alright, I'm flipping us back over. I just love me a good King Corso. Well, if they're going to be farm dogs, then you don't have to walk them. They're just going to protect the farm. Protect the farm. They could hire a dog walker, too. But yeah, that's understandable. My high school boyfriend's grandma, she was like in her 70s at the time, and she adopted this giant, massive, not fat, but like just big, um, yellow lab who was full of energy, and she made it work somehow. I don't know. Carly was very mindful. But we did always worry about her pulling grandma over. And grab one more sip of water and coffee and then go in with the baby girl. Know the feeling of remembering the one you almost wound up with. Didn't even see the dog, but she had the same name as one of your great grandpa's dogs, Belle. Aww. Wolfie, Wolfie. Wolf dogs are cool. It's amazing though. Some like most of the more low content ones look more like wolves than actual wolves. I'll pull some up. Let me get back over here. Higher content wolf dogs tend to look more shepherdy, whereas like lower content ones look like pure wolves, which is so weird to me. Not their barks, but I can kind of do her meow. She's really annoying about it, but like in a really cute way, like in a good way. But she's very. Let me rephrase that. She's not annoying. She's persistent. You guys will see. She's very loving. Someone adopt her, please. I love having her here, but she needs so much love. She needs it. Time for super suit number 2. The My Free Cat suit. I made this way too tight. I can't tilt this anymore. There you go. I want this easy for hands in there. Super suit. I'm sorry. I'm slow. Oi, 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 oi. That was like the laziest way to put something on ever. Oop. Oop. Who did I use this for? Was this for Tank or... I don't think I had this when I had Voya. Like when he was injured. I think I used this for Tank for a while. Oh wait, no, Tank was swipey, so I couldn't have. Charlie, maybe? I used this with someone. Alright, who do we need gloves for? She got her meds earlier, and then she proceeded to foam all over the place and throw them up. That was fun. It's not like her medicine, but it's Doxy, and Doxy, I've never had it liquid, but it looks like it tastes terrible from her reaction. So low effort. So extremely low effort. Hi. She's very polite with the door, though. She doesn't try to zoom out, which is nice. Hi. I'm going to turn on the light, Mama. Meow. Meow. Oh no, did this one finally stop working or did you unplug it? You might have unplugged it. Aw. Boo. Only get one light. Meow. 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 She's gonna want to snuggle on the bed. She also still, she's not still nursing, like she's a year old, but she's one of those cats that was weaned too early or was bottle fed. She'll nurse on me. On my outfit while we set. Because she's weird and we love her. Claudia, my little monster. Hi, doll. Come here, baby. Adopt her. Love her. Look how loving she is. She's so sweet. Aw, thank you for feeding the outdoor buddies. Ow! I trimmed her front nails, but not the back ones. She got me with her back ones. Okay. Come here. Come here. She is just pure love. Mm. She is kind of elusive in that way. Like, she's shy. She hid for, like, the first day that she was here. But once you get her out of her shell, she's out of her shell. And she will not leave you alone. She's awesome. She would be great with kids, probably. She's just, like, relentless with the love that she wants. She's so funny. Come here, sis. Come here, sis. Blurp. Blurp, blurp. It's actually a cat up for adoption named Elusive at the rescue. Hello. She's one of their long terms. I think she's been there since 2023. But she's shy. Most people don't want a shy cat. Most people want an easy cat. And baby girl. I am so grateful. Voya has sent me the sweetest fosters. Lincoln got adopted last week, and he was so sweet. And now she's here to recover from her upper respiratory. I don't know if she'll be here long term or just to recover. And then, dude is so sweet. Like, what the hell? Not that most cats aren't sweet, but I feel like he sent me the extra nice ones. Like, thank you. Thank you. She got pissed off as the dog sitting went on. Aww. I've had some grumpy gills here this week, so I feel you. I feel you. Is it weird to say it? I don't think I've ever been loved like you love these animals. No, because I don't think I've ever been loved the way I love them. Like, except by them. You know, like, not by another human being. I just match their unconditional vibe. Like, that's how love works. You just gotta match each other's vibe. And they love unconditionally. So I can love them unconditionally, and it's easy. It's hard to love people unconditionally. Like, it's just not in our nature. Because we're selfish creatures. We only think of ourselves, whether we mean to or not. I think I could definitely love the right person unconditionally. I just have no interest to because all of my love is occupied with 4 paws. I don't got more love to give. That's all I got. I got it for you guys. This is what I got. Loving is what I got. I think she's about to start suckling. She's getting in the biscuit mode. You're silly. You're silly. Little stinky. She is so nice. I am still basically a stranger to her. You've been here since Wednesday, I think. I think Lincoln got adopted on Wednesday. I don't even know my days anymore. It's only been like, what? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's been 5 days, and you act like I'm your mother and you've known me your whole life. She was so good. She just got a cold, but she's doing so much better. Today she's like not symptomatic at all. She has 4 more days with meds. Hi. Eat the biscuits. She's so sweet. She's so sweet. He's so sweet. I know the rescue is really full right now, so if she ends up being a longer term foster, I'll just have to take her to adoption events. That'll be the protocol. She wants to snuggle with you guys and give you guys love too. Aw, that's sweet to say. I think you're very brave, because loving so deeply also means you get hurt just as deep. Yeah. It's so nice to say hello, but it's hell to say goodbye. It's hell. Hell. But we enjoy the time while we have. They've taught me this wonderful thing of living in the moment as much as possible, which is hard to do as a human being. But if they can do it, I can try to do it too. Love every day for every day that we have together. And don't cry till it's over. There's no crying in baseball. She's so love. She said, okay, this side now. Are you gonna go at my armpit? Or are you playing with the string? She's a little bit playful. She's not very playful though. She really just loves love. She's a lover girl. Mrs. Lover Lover. Song came on the radio this morning. It's not really a morning song. Mr. Boombastic. Crazy fantastic. It's a good smells. Is it okay? Come here. Come here. I'm laying on my hair. It hurts. What are you doing? You crawling in. I love her. I love how I went from having no black cats all of my life to now there's 4 black cats in my house. Like, how and when did that happen? I'd really like to know what this timeline is. They just live in the moment. Like, they're not worried about tomorrow. They're not worried about anything except where's my next meal and where's my next nap and where do I go potty. Like, they're not worried about, oh, is it going to rain tomorrow or what's tomorrow going to be or what does my future hold or how am I going to get through XYZ amount of years of life, or they just live in the moment. All they care about is right now. I could think about 1,000 things to stress about right now if I tried. And her, she's just like, I'm getting pets. This is great. That's it. One thought. Black cats kind of are the best. It's not that I ever had anything against them. I literally was just one of the many that overlooked them at shelters. Like, they just didn't register in my mind when I've ever been adopting. Hello. Edible. And they really are the most loving little weirdos. All 4 of them are weird in their own little different ways. And I like it. Gigi almost gave me a nose boop last night. That was nice. I was very proud of her. We got really, really, really close to the kennel together. You can pop back up? Hi. Like, who doesn't want to come home to that? You got a cute girl waiting for you with a kiss. She's marvelous. You're gonna roly-poly over, though. Phoebe roly-polied over when we were snuggling last night, and she dug into my leg, like, Scar, brother! And it hurt so fucking bad. I have holes in my leg from her. She got me here and on the inside of my other leg. Where? Over here. Like, why? Why you gotta do that? Why? Why? Little stinky girl. Then she gets, like, not loved out, but she's just like, okay, I'll be calm for a little bit. I was just crazy. And then she just chills. Adopt her. Adopt her. Boop. Boop. I guess I do still have some boops in me. Boop, 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 boop. A snout seeker. Boop. Making the biscuits. Making the biscuits. You're a professional baker. Right. Oh, you're stuck. There you go. I speak cat. Meow meow. Meow. Meow meow. 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 But does the cat always listen? No. Cat does not care. She's about to eat her feet. Alright, you want to chill and watch your bird TV? You calm now? Are you calm now? Say no. More. Okay, come here. More. It's the birds and squirrels. Go get them. Come on. Say no. My time. My time. My time. Her belly is so pretty. I don't know if we can see. It's like a galaxy. She has a lot of mix of white hair and with her black hairs. It looks like a star field. It's pretty. Let's see if I can try and get this closer up. She's so cute. I love that about her. I see your belly. I see your belly. It's like a star field. There's so many just random little, well, that's your nipple, but there's so many random little just white spots. Usually it's just in like a patch by their tummy, but it's everywhere. Hi. You look so good. You look so much better than when you got here. Ah, biscuits. Biscuits. She is so smooth. She is soft like a rabbit. do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh no, the yawns. We don't want those. We need more coffee. We need more coffee. I love you, little lady. I love you, little lady. You're so darn cute. She's the prettiest green eyes. Like who, me? Yes, you. Oh, don't lick your ass. Not when I'm like fully zoomed in, please. Thank you. That's it. Preferably, no, thank you. I'm like reaching with the force of might of all of my reach. There. So far away. I could have just gotten up. Could have just gotten up. Her, of course. She's perfect. I am but a mere mortal. She is perfection. She is a goddess. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, if I was gonna keep her, I would name her Persephone. The awkward zoomed in. What's the worst that we can do? I mean, at least she's a she and she doesn't have balls. It'd be unfortunate if we were doing that with dude and we got a nut shot. Doop, 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 doop. Oh, he got his balls looked at medical too, when he had his appointment the other day. And they do look weird, but apparently with cats, sometimes they can just look different, like how they do with people. You know, not all balls are created equal. Pun possibly intended. And his are just not created equal, but they are okay and descended. We were a little worried because they look strange. I don't know how to describe it. They're like cat balls that I've never seen before, and they're okay. They're normal. Thankfully, which we're grateful for. I love you. And make some biscuits on my peep. There's the funky shoe covers so that we don't get germs on our peeps from you. You got a cold. You got a cold. You got a cold. You got a cold. I love you. I love you. You got a floof on you. Boop, boop, boop. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. That was like her first moment of playfulness so far. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. He doesn't seem to know what to do with that. What? What'd you think? She's so slight. I pick her up and she's so, like, light. Used to picking up big cats. You want me to hold you while you watch bird TV? It's very locked into the bird TV. Alright, go chase down those bluebirds. Go chase them down. Mom wants to play some schemes. Mom wants to play some schemes. I love you. We have now introduced Claudia. Okay, now we are all aware of the zoo. That was quite the kitty tour tonight. Thank you all for coming along. I hope you all kept your arms and legs inside of the vehicle at all times and lived by the Girl Scout law. You good girl. I smooch you before bed, baby. I smooch on you before bed. And I turn off bird TV because that TV gets hot. And then it makes the room hot. I just realized I can balance stream phone on top of this, and that is amazing. Quarter of the zoo introduced. I did roughly. Probably closer to the fifth. To a fifth. Because there's what? You have 10 cats now. And 4 dogs. And 2 fosters. And that makes what? 16? Alright, my shoe covers. Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the cult. It is whatever you want it to be, baby. To choose your own adventure, and thank you for taking the time to be here tonight. Oh, Peebs, you have my chest too. Girlfriend. I think that's how you math. I think. Tank, Gigi, Slavka, Charlie, Void, Chong, Kid, PB, Gunther, Zeke. Plus 4 dogs is 14. Plus 2 fosters is 16. That's a full house right now. That's actually a very full house. The only other thing rescue related I could do right now is TNR because that room, and that's, we're packed. Flip us over here. What are they gonna look up? Oh, wolf dogs. Update this before I forget. 27 out of 32 awesome humans want a bikini cosplay night. We will have a cosplay night tomorrow, but that will not be what the goal pertains to. That's for a separate night. Tomorrow is Harley Day though, because it's the first of the month. And if you start the month off unhinged, it can only get better from there. That's the logic. Oh, my chest. It is. It's a memorial tattoo. I'm going through such a cute little lump. Alright, let's pull up some schemes. My hair is wild now from laying in bed. I did some finagling earlier, Club Colts. It's like the last of my remaining brain cells. Let's go. Now I have you guys up on screen. Oh, I have the crop fucked up. I knew it wasn't perfect. It was close. Can't like see what it is until it is what it is though. That's good enough for my brain for tonight. Swator! You look for those updates, launcher. You do that. Why do you keep moving to the other screen? Stop. Good boy, Gunther. Blurp, 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 blurp. I had to take away the litter box surrounder thing because Zeke didn't like it. It was stressing him out. So you can't be a hater on my stream room floor. Periodically tell him. Like a golden retriever with your hair, but you have cat energy. I'll be a silver golden like the one I groomed today soon. You just need like one more bleaching and one more box dye to get to blonde. I took a picture of my favorite grooms so far. I did a clean face on a poodle yesterday, which the mom home groomed. Don't judge the eyebrows. I wasn't allowed to touch them. People be crazy. She was so cute though. She would have looked cute with clean feet too. And I love the golden that I had today. He was so cute and sweet. He was just neaten up, but his feet turned out really nice. Here's a better picture. Look at those feet. Those are some nice feet. Ah! I do expect judging, and I'm hoping for mercy. And there was a really matted dog that had the most unhinged face while he was being shaved down. Like, this is things of nightmares. Are you ready? You will now see that in your dreams. I'm an asshole. I take pictures when they're funny. I can't help it. There's Gigi before she nose booped me last night. My phone is so dirty from this weekend. I need to clean it. That golden was awesome though. I had so much fun. I really liked him. I hope he becomes a regular. He tipped good. He must have been happy. I appreciate that. Or he was just a really nice guy. I don't know. He tipped good. I appreciated that. So confused of what I was looking at. A very overgrown, large Maltese mix. Oh, dogs. Forgot. High content wolf dogs mostly just look like huskies, I feel like. Oh, I have this open in 2 places. Oops. They just have like a very husky or like shepherdy look about them. I don't know. Why is my computer being slow tonight? What the f- fuck are you doing? Versus low content looks so much more wolfy, I feel like. Like, they heavily retain the characteristics. Is he in the chair? Oh no, he's still in bed. Zeke's on the floor over here. He's on guard dog duty. And Gunther is in bed. Being the little king that he is. Oh, he's behind the board. I'm sure that dog was confused at what he was looking at too. He was naughty. He had to have drugs to come in. Wolf dogs are cute. It's just the content always surprises me. Oh, that's cool. Dilute blue merle low content female wolf dog. How many dogs went into making that dog is what I want to know. That's an interesting thing. Very, very interesting thing. Aw, baby puppy. Baby puppy. Okay. I'd love to have a wolf dog one day, but I don't think I ever could, because I don't think they would probably get along with cats well. I think that would be a little, flying a little too close to the sun. Turn that face into a stream emote. I couldn't do that to that dog. It's not my dog anyway. Can't do that. It's someone else's dog. Did not ask consent or permission, I just took the photo. Let's see where we left off. I gotta pee real quick. I got to go tinky. I do. What is my hair clip doing? It's like barely hanging on for life. Some of my bangs were just flying out sideways earlier. Maybe they've stopped. It's the only reason I clipped it back. I have a brush. What am I doing? Oh, are we in like ye old town with this music? I need to clear storage on my phone, so I haven't taken pictures of all the dogs that I've done, but those are my favorites so far. They're not just like basic. Well, I guess the golden is basic, but the golden is sweet. It was worth it. It was very worth it. Plug this in, and I will be right back. Right back after these messages. What the message is, I don't know. Ask Zeke. Ask Gunther. Ask and maybe you shall receive. Just maybe. Zeke! Stop being a brat with him tonight. Stop. It's not nice. gotten scratched so many times today I didn't even notice. A mark under here. I don't think I can see them under my lights. And then when I was driving home, I saw these over here. I don't know even when those happened. Or who did what. Maybe I cut myself in the bathing tub though. Because that one's really sharp. I think I left myself here because I was probably lost. What are we doing? Oh, we're on Alderaan. Forgot about that. Okay. The privileges of royalty. We've got to get to a transport spot. Which shall be where? This way? This way, perhaps? Coffee. Coffee! I felt bad for that unhinged dog, though. Like, he obviously has some kind of, like, either he's in a lot of pain, like, physically, or he has some kind of neurological issue that, like, makes him almost impossible to groom. Whoa! What the fuck am I driving? It's a sky turtle-faced stingray with a bird dragon tail? What is this? It's cute. But I wasn't expecting that. The bottom of its wings are like a sea turtle though, but he moves like a stingray. He's got a butt like a stingray, except it's like he has like a toothless butt. Or tail. But same difference. He's cute. Oh, what did I just do? I don't know what I just did. Something. Outpost Bullium? Sounds like bouillon. Can I jump over the edge of this safely? Oh yeah. That's flat ground. That's just a tiny little hill. Tuck and roll. Tuck and roll. Why is he not nice, but... Did you really go get yourself in trouble? The other guy was not nice. I don't know. He's cute. Highland Nerf. He's a Nerf. He's adorable. Did you get yourself in trouble? You goober. I thought you did, but you're just like shooting at the ground. What are you in trouble with right now, you crazy bitch? What is she shooting at? She's shooting at the ground. What is wrong with you? What's there, boy? What you smell? What am I supposed to do about this? Like, obviously I should help her, but there's nothing that I can target. I don't think it's... Okay, that, like, unhooked her. She just really wanted to fight something or something. I don't fucking know. Didn't really want to fight the hunting Vorn tiger. Well, he's kind of cool looking. But still. Target acquired. Package secured. Doot, 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 doot. Okay, let's not do that again, you silly, silly girl. Silly. Silly. Describing an astonishing amount of my gameplay right now, too, with Red Dead. just mirror images within the magic of the universe, you know? Welcome, Nikki. I hope you're having a good night so far. Happy Sunday. My brain still doesn't want to believe that it's Sunday. Feels like Catterday up in this bitch. Kind of. We were very kitty oriented tonight. Thank you guys for touring around with the zoo again. They like the attention. Like, not just from me. I think they really do like the extra attention of being on camera. Tank doesn't really give two hoots. But he got a purr pop, so it doesn't matter. A lot of magic in the universe going on. There's always magic going on in the universe, just is it in my favor or not? The universe is magical. There's the road. Yes. Hopefully. Please. Platypus. No. Everyone's being responsible tonight. The game is pretty empty tonight. Maybe just no one's on this mission. You crash on my stream? I just don't crash your car into my house. Don't crash in that way. Aldous soldier. They punish you when you don't bring your own bags. Sneak, sneaks, not sneaking. Very, very not sneaking. Whee! Are they fighting someone else? Did I speak too soon? It's possible. Jump. Alright, I guess security is doing its job tonight. Wee! 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 Oh my god, you guys too? Come on now. Ah, there is more people. Don't be on the same mission as me. Solo Dolo BB. What the hell is this? Enviro acclimatizer? Okay. Where's the house? House. House of mouse. Does it still target me if I'm below the overhead of where it's casting out to? That's what I really want to know. Pew pew. Pew pew. A fancy car. Fancy schmancy. That's the wrong way. Just went up these stairs. Oh, I remember what I had in this chunk of my stream over here. Where I put chat. I thought I just had blank space there, but that's where I have my sub menu. Silly goose. that's okay. I'm gonna fine tune this a little bit more. Fancy car reaches 204 miles per hour. Sheesh. That's a zoomy BB. Zoomy BB. I'm slouching. Need to stop that. Oh, my back popped. That felt good. Oftentimes, if I just flex my hips in some way, I don't know why the computer isn't talking. I guess it's just I'm reading words or something. You guys don't get the context. Probably can't read the subtitles. No, no yawning. No yawning allowed. Sometimes I just flex my hips, my back pops, and it's so nice. It's always like the best pop, too. We have to be secretive. We have to ask about privacy concerns. Be secretive, according to whatever this just told me. Back we go. Okie doke. Now just imagine if you had them IRL. If you have expensive taste in fancy cars, Nikki. That would be a lot of saving for a retirement garage. Zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom. Zoom. Zoom, zoom. That's like the funniest timing for that comment, as I'm just zoom, zoom. Most of your remarks are reserved for the zoo, since that's what I'm really here for, as it should be. I'm only here because I have thumbs and I can press buttons and I know how to start stream. Really, it's just all about the zoo. I was gonna say, like, I'm the one in charge, but that's not true either. I just have thumbs. You have a soothing voice. Well, thank you. I've been told that many times, and honestly, I don't see it. I don't hear it. But I think everyone is kind of, like, not the happiest or, like, sketched out or weirded out by hearing their own voice. You're just so used to it, it's yours. As much as I talk to myself, I don't find much soothing about my voice. My words, perhaps, but not my voice. No, I'm not in charge at all. Charlie is in charge. She's the alpha. I'm the beta. Beta bitch. Here's your dump down. Oh, well, that's just as productive, but... still just fine. That's just fine. They need executive chairs like Gunther for your dog and cat to truly run the household. Find a $500 chair on the side of the road on trash day for the low, low price of free. Hell yeah. Is it broken? Yes. Is it leaning sideways? Yes. Is it a little bit scratched up by someone else's cat? Hell yeah. But Gunther likes it. And so does Zeke. These guys have good eyesight. Usually I can sneak by. Dang. 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 And photos of your current and past cat in your old chair. Aww, that's cute. Occupying the important spaces. That was not correct at all. Wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Oh, it had to have been from up there. Instead, I jumped down there like a goose. Oh, yeah, that's the way we came in. My humor warms your heart. Aww. Yay. I would say I try, and I do, but that's only about 50% of the time. So I appreciate that. Sometimes it just works out. What game is this? Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's a little older, but it still holds up. It's good. How did they see me from here? I brought it back out for Star Wars Day, and I've been pretty locked into it since. I played it a little bit years ago, and I liked it, but I did not know what I was doing, and I gave up. And I'm really into it this round. I've been liking it. Did you just boop me? No boops. Sheesh. Pistol whip your ass. Jesus Christ. Thanks, King. You, like, came in and delivered the final blow. That was nice. Oh, I still got dragged into it. I was about to say I'm not as nice, and I'm an asshole, and I'm just gonna run away, because I'm just a girl. But now I'm stuck in it as well. And with the trained calf hound. Good God. It looks like a goat. Really flat goat. Like how a square, or how a rectangle is a square that got sat on by an elephant. That's what, like, they teach you in kindergarten. It's like if a goat got sat on. And had scales and whatnot. Took a video of your current one when she was wee little, just sitting in it while Line in the Sand by Motorhead was playing, going on about evolution and shit. Aw. That's cute. That's very cute. I appreciate that. Being kind is important. It's one of the few things in life we can do that's free and benefits everyone. There's a lot of economic value to kindness. Welcome, Dr. Pong. Hope you're having a good night so far. Happy weekend. I've been good. I hope life's been treating you well. Been very good. I'm just very on a long dirt road. That I want to know, like, this doesn't seem paved. Does someone go out and stamp this, like, making sand at a beach nice every day or something, like at the fancy resorts? I don't know. I think someone rakes the sand. I think that's a thing. I don't actually know, but movies have led me to believe. Oh, it's that. It's purple and glowing. Is that a thing? Or is it just rock? I think it's just rock. It's just rock. Oh, it's not. No, it's not a selectable rock. Damn it. I mean, it's a pretty rock. Girls and cats are dragons. We want shiny things to hoard. Doesn't matter the true value of the shiny things. We just want to hoard them. They just need to be shiny. Bloop, 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 bloop. Do not get into trouble with that thing again, please. Please. Please, Louise. Stop yawning! It's illegal! he who I want?
Please select an available travel route.
House Thol. Privileges
Have a
of
safe and
royalty.
pleasant stay.
Oh, let's go. I love this thing. What is this? I want this in an action figure. Like, what are you? So cool. It reminds me of those toys that you used to balance. I think they were usually like doves. But there was another one too, and I don't remember what the creature was. But you balance it on your finger, and it just hovers. How do I even Google this? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I think it was a dove. A balancing bird. These! You probably have to be as old as me to remember these. But do you guys remember them? They were so cool. They were so cool. They were so neat. I remember holding it and going like that and making it fly. That's what it reminds me of. You're so cool. I never knew stands came with them. I guess maybe they just came in different colors. Balancing eagle or dove. Well, that escalated quickly. How you been? Long time no see. Damn you cute. Would love to stretch that slim booty. That escalated very quickly. Do I need to get the Nerf gun out? Welcome, Jonak. Are you having a good night so far? I'm doing wonderfully. I hope the weekend has been kind to you. Do I need to be in around? What is this telling me? I think so. No, not unless I want to go in a big stupid circle. Geronimo! Big leap. I'm a simple man. I think we need to revisit that song. Get some true meaning out of it. Played Hot Wheels Uno with your roommates today after lunch. There's Hot Wheels Uno? That's cool. I never thought of Uno being themed. I think there's themed like Monopoly. That's neat. Once again, I'm barricaded by the mountain, but doesn't this mountain have a mouth? I think. Or was that our other previous mission? Yes, it is a mountain with a mouth. Let me through. Okay. 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 I guess in that case, good morning. Coffee? Coffee? It's not still hot though, it's cold. Did make one of my flavored coffees this evening though. I treated myself. It is caramelly flavored. It's a little bit too sweet, but it's still good.
Yes,
I have many themed Uno cards. The Fast and the Furious Uno also. Dang. I've never seen themed Uno, but I've never thought to look for it.
You'd understand our restlessness.
I don't remember if I'm supposed to be nice or snarky to this guy.
This restlessness.
Should I be
Is
worried?
going to be a problem?
There's nothing.
Stop yawning!
The hive is growing.
Woman.
And we all benefit. We even have a gift for you. These orbs contain white membrosia, rare nectar produced by our givers.
Membrosia, not nectar.
You'll find it gives strength.
They really didn't reach too far out of reality for that one. Very nice.
But exotic. I like it.
Very
We
nice.
hoped you might.
Very
In any
nice.
case, how's the search for
Very
deadly ale?
nice. Aw, aunties are the best. My aunt always finds the most thoughtful things for me too. Yeah, you tell me. I don't know. I'm just running around places.
This is perplexing. It looks like ale funded the
I'm just
destruction
zooming.
of the Dominator and the assassination of Darth Jadus. But the rest is very odd.
Oh Jesus, my
Have you shown
shoulders
this
are
to
tight.
Baron Peor?
Yoga stream when? Probably very soon. That's your best
How do you
advice.
handle
Scoff.
one simple
Ha ha
task?
ha ha.
Respectfully,
Ha
we've
ha
been
ha
with
ha.
this
I
entire
laugh
venture.
in the face of
If you're
danger.
displeased,
Ha ha
report
ha
it to
ha.
our superiors. We'll be on alert. Should you
Spaghetti
need
is such a
us.
cute color, but
The
it
nest
likes to
embraces our unity.
move with a mind of its own. It's a very annoying tag. Where are my scissors? Welcome, man, Topher. Happy Sunday fun day. I hope the weekend has been kind to you as I self-mutilate my articles of clothing. Can you find my car as a Hot Wheel? Because I haven't successfully found it yet. I found so many of my friends' cars, but never mine. I haven't looked online ever, but I'm sure that would be the easy way to do it. But whenever I'm in stores or anything where it's never there. Sad. Be sad. It's upsetting. House of Cortus is where we're going. Did that piss me off the other day, or was it a different house? I think it was a different house. It's always in red. Or black. I've never seen another white one like mine driving around. Only in red or black. Everyone just had too much fun with all the other colors and crashed them and wrecked them. Sad. I think they go with the red the most for products too, because that was the color featured in Fast and Furious in the second one. Plot twist, Serena's looking for the minivan Hot Wheels. Honestly, maybe. It's certainly not the favorite car that I've ever driven. But I appreciate that it runs well. It has low mileage. It was my grandpa's. It's special. Sometimes when I'm driving, I'm pretending that I'm driving him around again. He's sitting in the passenger seat. Like, you can pay any amount of money in the world to trade that feeling. It's not cute, but it gets the job done. And it's great for the zoo. It's so good for the zoo. My grandpa wanted something that was safe for me when he bought it, but could also haul the boat and then, like, allow for mobility as my grandma and grandpa got older. Can I go through that? Oh, hell yeah. And that's what he decided on. Not what I would choose, but has definitely served me well. I mean, the cars were just too cool to not have fun with, honestly. I babied my car when it was my daily, but I still abused it a little. Still, shout out to there being like a foot and a half of snow, fresh snow, on the ground when I was driving to my grandpa's to do his meds one Sunday. And this fucking Subaru was trying to race me, and I was so ashamed. I'm like, I am not manual. I am not a VR4. There's no turbo in here. I'm not going to be able to beat you. And he's just revving and trying to race and trying to race and trying to race. And no. And then I got to the light that I needed to, and he just went on. He wanted to have some fun in the snow, and it was like, girl, I am barely making it through. Barely. I'm riding on hopes and dreams right now. Let's make a trade.
I'll share my information if you'll share yours.
I'm more than willing. May I? These records, they are the pieces
kind of. There are, fuck, what are they called? I can't think of the word.
Some weeks ago, Master Ale arranged a secret
After like 5 or 6 years of having the car, my grandpa,
is doubtless occurring as we speak.
running boards, that's what they're called. Put running boards on the bottom of them. Rist. So many houses, this fucking nobility.
Wrist is a stain upon
Goodness
the
golly.
a house of slayers and poisoners. I suggest you wait for Denry Ale's return. A month, perhaps 2.
Welcome, Mikey. Having a good evening so far.
I have by interfering in their
Welcome.
affairs.
Happy Sunday. Can't afford to wait.
My mission is urgent.
My mission is urgent.
But these games should be played with caution. Confronting
Yes, definitely. Just let me blue skidoo right through the
I
screen.
must cut this discussion short.
I feel like we have this conversation before.
See to our guest, my lady. Make certain Cortes hospitality remains second to none.
I'm sorry about my husband. He's a busy man and a brave one. Just not ready.
We have had this conversation before. Be more original. Come up with a better plot line. Be more creative. Only a fool would be.
Stupidity. Then you plan to wait Ale out.
Oh dang.
You don't seem like someone content to sit around in hopes of an easy solution.
Oh dang.
Everything the Baron said about Rist is true. They are a stain on society and a foe of Cortes. When I was a child, Rist assassins poisoned my father. and
For as
set
much
my
as
life
I'm
on
not the biggest fan visually of my current daily, I think I will be extremely sad. More sad than any other car that has ever broke down in my life. Including my race car. Including my truck. Including literally every car. Because every car is broken down. Most times not my fault. I think I will be the most sad when my current daily dies. That's okay. I'll turn it into a chicken coop. There's actually, if you look on Reddit, there's a lot of people that have turned my car specifically into a chicken coop. Then strike back.
Rist is so abhorrent. Why let them continue?
Don't be a pussy.
My ideas. But you could show him the meaning of bravery. You could show all the houses that define Rist isn't hopeless. Find Denry Ale. Fight the assassins. And go with all the
Japan
others.
instead of the 3000 GT. It's GTO because Japan wanted to have their own muscle cars, but in JDM form, that is true. That is the lore. I'll fight the house. Since when am I Captain Save-A-Ho?
You gladden my
Ugh.
heart. I'll leave you alone. I'd warn you to be careful, but I know you will be.
Ooh, ooh! Joker had the VR4 for a hot minute. Oh my god, I believe it. I love my car. She's automatic, she's not a VR4, and I still love that bitch. I want to be buried in her. I love her. I'm in lesbians with her. They're such neat little buggers. I'm glad you got to enjoy yours. So much traveling. We're getting all of our steps in today. I don't know how many steps I'm taking anymore because my watch isn't waterproof, so I can't wear it during the day. And just arg. It's bothersome. All I can do now is track my sleeps, not my steps. Good boy, Gunther. Do cat things. You go, boy. Do 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 do. Let's go, Gunther. No, I'm not supercharged and I don't have a turbo. Everything is returned to stock, more or less. Except for my power steering cooling tube. I shortened it. Because the part ran stupid. And if I ever have to replace it again, I don't want to have to take my whole fucking front end off for it. It does make sense, because look at this stupid thing. Tube. It's this line, and it goes right in the front. Like, it basically runs here. So you have to take the whole front end off. You have to take off the panels. You have to take off the lights. You have to take off everything. Everything! Everything! And you might as well replace the radiator while you're at it. It's this stupid line. So now the line literally is only this to... This is a very small picture. I just realized that. Get bigger! That's not helping. Let me do this different. There we go. It's literally only... My mouse isn't working on here? The left end of it. The little baby hook. There you go. It's literally only this. I deleted the rest of this. Because it's not the VR4. The VR4 needs this. It's not souped up. It doesn't have anything crazy going on. The VR4 would require this much space for the function. But my baby, just fine. I feel like if you're not exactly my size, it's an impossible car to work on. Because I'm tiny and got little hands. And get around all the funny little things. It's very helpful to have a slight build to work on a tight build. No, it's just a little baby. It doesn't need to do much cooling. It's just a basic bitch. That was a fun project. It sucked that it broke down, but it was a fun project. That was the first time I put my car back together all by myself, which was nice. It felt good. It was satisfying. But no, not easy to work on at all. And stuff is in stupid places. It's just that. Stuff is in stupid places for literally every car. I don't think there's any hood that you can lift and say, oh yeah, this makes 100% perfect sense. Unless it's something from like the 70s and before. Because then everything is just simple and carbureted. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Tear down and put it back together. Nice. See, like with my truck, I really struggled though. Because everything was so big, like it was so obvious where everything was, and there was so much space in the engine bay, and it was so nice. But everything was so big and heavy and bulky and extra, because truck. But it was nice to actually see a clear layout of where everything is, versus where is this part buried? Transport me.
Vehicle pads are currently
Transport me.
Have a safe and pleasant stay.
I love this thing. I want to fly in this thing forever. It must be native to Alderaan. I love her. She's beautiful. I feel like I'm sitting way too far forward on that saddle, though. It's awkward. Oh, I can do more. I want more. Thought I heard you, Gunther. I think Gunther just responded to this. Mama? You want up? You wanna come up? Oh, Ma! Oh, I just saw your comment, the Mad Topher. I shrunk my own chat screen as well as what's on screen, so I'm probably missing things here and there. Yeah, there's a bunch of them that have been, well, I shouldn't say a bunch, but it's a common project. Oh, sorry. Sorry! Like, actually. Because, like, you have the seats down like I do. That it's easy peasy lemon squeezy as, like, a roosting box. It's weatherproof, survives the elements, predator proof. It works. It works. What road do we travel now? Many. Many roads. Bloop. Geronimo? No. Good to go. It's better. 3000 GT will be my casket, not a chicken coop. I want to be buried in that thing. It was very creative. I mean, if it breaks down, it's older-ish. It's not really worth selling in most cases. And if it's any kind of year, make, or model as mine, it's practically worthless at this point. Like, it would sell for, like, nothing. It wouldn't sell at all. Trade-in value would be, like, 0. So turn it into a chicken coop. My daily, not the 3000 GT. That's a Serena coupe. A coupe, if you will. I have too much fun with that pronunciation. The coupe. Oh my goodness. All cars are obsolete these days. I mean, to an extent, yeah. They'll never be obsolete with me, though. I'm never buying anything new. Never, ever, ever. I want to be able to actually work on and diagnose and maybe even fix whatever is wrong. And anything new is not what I've learned, and I'm not really willing to learn something that's built stupid. Because that's just stupid, and that's a waste of time. Don't care for this fancy new technology. Tis not for me. There's so much floof in my eyes. Oh my goodness. Gunther is comfy though. The Highland Trail. Let's go. Oh, oh, oh. It's pretty. I feel like we're in a forest preserve. Look at all those trees. It's nice. Oh, bonus. Inventories will suck my butt. Dang it. Got new pants. Whatever that is. I don't know. Don't know. Orange color. I want to keep this, but shouldn't I? Why am I saving so much of this? Pardon. Pardon. I don't know what this is, but it seems fancy. Okay, if they both need orange crystals, but that one's 58 and that one's 54. We can trash that one. Major ship requisition. Someone remind me next time to use the XP boosts. I don't know if I'll be able to keep off the yawns for another hour. So I don't want to waste one. Or, how much quantity do we have? That one's for 3 hours. Oh, they're both for 3 hours. During Galactic Starfighter battle. Never mind. I'm gonna use a 3-hour one next time though. Your Peach just padding along. Gunther, you're about to put my leg to sleep. But I'm comfy, I don't want to move. And I know you're comfy too. What in the overboard do you want me to go on here? Excuse me, pardon? Oh, that's like a very weird, broad turn. Is that right? Yeah. I'll take it. Even like soothing music. Is that a wild one? There's someone else going for a ride. I'm like obsessed with this creature. It is beautiful. It's like How to Train Your Dragon, the Star Wars version. The Star Wars Redux. '90s have that sweet old school feeling. Can confirm everything from the '90s was the best. That's where I'm from. This is a nice little guy. He's a cute little guy. It's kind of like what one of the Cane Corso's build was today. Thick. Thick, thick, thick. Alright, Gunther, we gotta adjust a tiny bit. My leg is going to sleeps. To sleeps. There you go. Now you can go sleeps. Cozy. Cozy. Cozy, wozy, posy. The yawns are imminent. Really? What did you do that for? Rise and shine indeed. Tabla. Tabla. Wrist detection droid. That was interesting. How was work today? It was good. I got out a little bit early, but then I had to do some rescue stuff after I got home. I wanted to stream a little bit earlier, but that's okay. You gotta do what you gotta do. It was a good day though. My favorite dog of the day was a golden retriever. He was excellent, and he was neutered. I loved that. It was wonderful. Most of the male dogs so far are not neutered, which is not wonderful. It was a good day. It was a very good day. Where do you want me to go? Today was just loud and bitey. Yesterday, everyone was pooping and peeing, so I'll take loud and bitey over pooping and peeing. How different are the not neutered ones? They just don't have balls that I have to look at. It really makes no difference grooming-wise behaviorally because most dogs are anxious or skittish unless they're like super used to the process. The only difference is if they're neutered, then I don't have to shave their balls. I don't have to wash their balls. I don't have to touch their balls. I don't have to look at their balls. And if they are not neutered, then I have to do all of those things, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan of balls on dogs or on people because I've looked at too many dog balls to be able to appreciate any dude balls. I'm burnt out on balls. I think I've mentioned that affliction before, but like now it's like extra. Like we've reinforced it. Out of all of the dogs I've done so far, only 2 have been neutered. That's a lot of dog balls to shave. And they're like sensitive, like people balls. Like you gotta be really careful shaving them, and like they get tickly and weird and just It's scary. You guys don't want to cut their balls. Or cut your balls. I don't want to cut their balls. It's scary. They're just an inconvenience. Burnt out on balls. It just is what it is. I get that that's funny, but it's true. Oh, there's another guy over there. Wee. Wee. I'm wondering how many people balls you've shaved. None, thankfully. I refuse. But like in certain times of life, you know, you may see them and I don't want to see them. Like, I just don't care. Like, can you just please not have those there? Like, I don't want to see them anymore. How is there still so much trouble going on here? I thought we were past that. I don't want to be in the same mission as you. You go ahead first. You go ahead first. Yeah, see, exactly. You guys can shave them yourselves. I have no reason to. It's not in my job description. Dogs, though, however, unfortunately. They cannot shave them themselves. And that is a part of a sanitary trim. So it's not like people come in and say, shave my dog's balls. Although I'm sure there's someone out there that does that. It's just part of their sanitary trim. Can't be avoided. Stuff and things. Stuff and things. Oh, I went the wrong way. Oops. What else is new? A elevator. A elevator. Okay, that way. Zoom. Zoom. Oh, you know what? I lied. The Cane Corso was also neutered. There was a boy and a girl. And he was neutered. So him too. I forgot about that. He's one of my new favorite dogs. He's just a bath dog, but I loved him. He had the cutest little salt and pepper face. I forgot to take a picture of him because we were a little bit busy and it was like the end of the day. So just trying to finish up, like, the end of the day. I got out at 4 today, which was cool. But the Cane Corso, Mr. Cane Corso, he was neutered too. Good for him. Seems like we get a lot of dogs that were either like had a bad experience with another groomer to like the point of being traumatized and like now naughty because traumatized, or we get a lot of dogs that have been kicked out of other shops because they're bitey. Which is fine. I don't mind the bitey ones. Like, some people's tolerances or even policies, like corporate, like PetSmart grooming, etc., are very, very tight on what a dog's behavior can and can't be when in the shop. So it kind of makes sense. I think that's why I like it there most of all, is because we have like misfit reject dogs. Gift your companion. Okay. Here you go, companion. Woo. Woo. Why are you guys like right there? I thought I gave them time to like move. This is like golf again. We're gonna have to wait. Sense a theme from you. The I can fix him vibe. If you are a troubled soul, I will love you all the extra. That kind of vibe. I can't help it. I'm a sucker. I can't help it. I have compassion no matter what, but it's like it's extra compassion if like you've had troubled times. I will dote on you extra so. Let's not overboard ourselves again. I'm assuming like an elevator is gonna come up or down from somewhere. Yes. Slowly but surely. Using the force, I sense a theme from you. I've always liked the idea of grooming at either a vet clinic or like in a rescue environment, because a lot of dogs come in matted or in really bad shape. Cats too. But there's not a lot of hiring for that, just in general, because it's so niche, number one. And number two, the people occupying the position generally occupy that position for like the entirety of their career. So you're gonna hire someone new for that like every 20, 30 years if the business even stays open that long? Or if the rescue or vet's office even stays open that long? Like Doc's been open for as long as I've been alive. He's had his clinic. That's pretty far and few between, I feel like. If that opportunity ever came up, though, I would want to take it. You're just like not. Trauma med pack. Okay. I'm gonna fill up my inventory again. I can't remember if it was her or the other chick that has storage in her ship. I think it was our other character. Oof. Excuse me. Tonight is like a test run. I slept 6 hours and 18 minutes this morning. We're gonna see how long we can last pulling a full day on that. I am getting yawny. Boo! The other girl I work with asked me today what games I've been playing lately. I was like, I haven't gamed like all week. Which I mean, I guess we did like Tuesday, but that's almost a week ago at this point. Then I told her we were playing this. And she was like, oh my god, I remember that game. Do you still play WoW? I was like, no, I'm not cool. Boo. Oh, she was telling me something about EA getting sold. She plays The Sims. She plays Baldur's Gate. There we go. Too much ball talk. She plays a lot of things. She plays some BioShock. Like, she's very variety gamer, which is cool. EA got sold, though? I don't know. Maybe you guys have heard something about it. Is that gonna like change the content of the games or like paywall things, or what's gonna change about it? Do we know yet? I know I'm looking at the AI overview, which probably isn't correct, but it's the most best that my brain can take in at this moment in time. Going to be acquired by an investor consortium and 55 billion leveraged buyout, which will take the company private. The buying group includes Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, private equity firm Silver Lake and Affinity Partners, an investment fund led by Jared Kushner. I feel like I know that name from the news, but I have no idea who he is. So if they're going private, everyone who owns stock is gonna... I don't have stock in EA. I don't think I do. So if you own stock, you're gonna get $200, $210 per share. Is that how that works? His father-in-law is president. Oh, that's why the name would have been in the news then. I don't really watch the news. I mean, at least whatever CEO is staying in place. I don't know if that makes a big deal. The buyout is being heavily financed by debt, with JP Morgan Chase providing $20 million in debt financing. This massive debt burden has sparked industry anxiety regarding potential impacts on EA's future operation and games investment. Dang. Oh, it's not pleasant. Ow. Chase Bank is the bank that pays you when you're on TV. Chase Bank canceled me. I had a credit card with them years ago, and I maintained like paying off the balance well. I didn't do anything wrong, and then one day they just canceled it. That was it. I don't know. Chase hates sex workers, though. I don't know if they realized, like, oh man, she's only using this to buy hose stuff on Amazon, or like, what's going on there, but... that was a while back, like, before all of the weird credit card issues that we're having now with different sites. Excuse me. Oh, sodium. Ah, my eye is watering now after that. It was a doozy of a cough. Bad customer. Pays off balance each month. Think of the poor shareholders, right? Oh god, my allergies are kicking today. And they are kicking hard right now. What is the air quality? It's cloudy out. Air quality is moderate. And the humidity is pretty low. What the fuck? I got nothing to blame it on. My eyes are what? Good God. Calm down, body. Well, this isn't like informative with anyone's opinions at all. I quit. Attack!
Didn't I show you an additional Imperial welcome instead?
Because why not?
And I'll show you how to die.
Meow. Whee! Kaboom. Va voom. Oomy zoomy zoom. Purple. See, now this is a very incredibly obvious interactable object. Why can't they all be like that? It was glowing even from afar. There's this boy I must defeat. Good God, stop yawning! Stop it. Stop it. It's rude. Like, I know I'm tired. I don't need to be reminded. It's unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. Welcome back, welcome back. It's fight time. Oh, wait, is he like a boss or something? What the fuck? Why is he doing things? I'm gonna die. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. I did not anticipate or expect that. A probe has been dispatched. Oh, Schnapple. Oh wait, am I getting fucked by like the sentries hitting me at the same time as him? Probably. Heal. Gunther uppies. Okay. Gunther's on his way. Readjuste. Dodge and weave. Okay, I think that's the way. Okay, that one's down. This one. Yeah, take that. Huzzah! Loot, 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 loot. Why does a turret have credits? I want to understand this. The music did escalate well. But did I pay it any mind? Not at all. Gave me every indication. And I still goofed it. Okay, so is he just like incredibly powerful? Oh my god. I blew up. Ah. I have to like walk away and like recharge. Oh my god, I'm in a bubble. Ah. Got no shield for you, boy. Burn, baby, burn. Like it's just doing inferno. Just mind your own health, Serena. Oh my god. Oh my god. You're gonna overheat at some point. Yeah. Swim away. Swim away. Swim away. I don't think he's a boss fight. I think he's just a difficult man. Okay. Defeat. Defeat. Defeated. Is he a prisoner now? He's still alive.
You may have killed me,
Woo, woo, woo.
but you can't take away what I've achieved. I worked
He looks like a Disney villain.
I showed the houses how to settle their differences. What have you ever done for decent men?
But like the pretty boy version. We have to choose the Sith choice.
I protect decent
Kill him.
from terrorists like you.
Probably asked for his dog's balls to be shaved. He looks like the kind of guy.
You never.
He should do it himself. Look at that mustache. He's capable. I'm not doing it. She's not for me.
Master Aim, I'm sorry to disturb, but this message must reach you in time. The situation's grown worse. The thorn in my side knows you're visiting House Rist, and I believe she'll soon give chase. She's dangerous, Henry. She's in league with her husband.
I don't like that
Somehow
anymore.
with
It's too
access to her
sweet.
personal journals. You're going to need protection. I know the Rists aren't committed to working for us yet, but I hope you can convince them to help.
Like, tastes like a dessert
Sure,
now.
you can sway them somehow. You have a way with words.
I have a way with words. I just killed someone instead of speaking to them. But sure, I have a way with words. Most definitely. Most definitely. Scrunch hours. Actually, it stretches my back nicely. There's a ledge in the break room that we were doing like bar stretches on earlier. It's like the perfect height for it. It was so nice. Bloop, 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 bloop. I'm only using like one attack. That's about 10. Jeez Louise, everybody. Everybody. Get out of my way. You don't need to be doing everything. They just keep coming. Good God. You nutter butters? Oh, I died. Well then. He looks awfully satisfied with himself. Just walking on. Walking on around. Can't do that while dead. Well, you know what? Okay. Do what I want. Oops. No, 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 no.
Getting good.
None of that. None of that. Oh, I gotta use that shit. Loot, 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 loot. Burb, burb. Think I will be Z's soon, but I gotta tinky real quick. No, 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 no! You stink butt. Do that. Oh god, no. Pardon. I don't know what is wrong with my throat. I need to make like a cup of honey or something. No! I don't want to be fighting you. I need to pee. Rude. Could just let them kill me again, but my ego says no. My ego says no go. Get away from me. Alright, heal, recharge, do something. Rejuvenate. Who the fuck else now? No one. Okay, I need a safety spot. The elevator will be safe. Oh my god, you're gonna take forever. Oh no, it's moving fast. I feel like that was very akin to real life. Press the button. Oh, it's gonna take forever. And then ding ding, and the door opens right away. Okay, now I'll be right back. Burb burb. Aw, Gunter's so cute. 8B, Zeke here in the executive chair. Fancy boy. I don't think dude knows what playing is. I just fixed my strings on my bottoms. And back down we go. We gotta go up, right? I think. And he didn't care at all. And those strings flying around. Like, buddy. Did you guys have fun just watching me go up and down the elevator? Doot, 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 doot. I don't know which side we're getting off on. It's like when you're in one with two sets of doors, you never know. Just face the same way everyone else does and hope for the best. I don't think there's any avoiding you. No. I realized when I got up that I am officially tired. I want to get through a little bit more of this and then I'll hit the hay, Club Culture. I expect, or at least I was going to make another drink. Forgot. I expect and would like to see Club Cult tomorrow, but we shall see what tomorrow brings. Oh, Hoblarg. It may be zonked. I don't know. Hopefully not. But I'll be up at 6 a.m. to keep the zoo on schedule. So, we'll see. We shall see. Loot it, damn it. Thank you. Are they also multi-purposed with their enviro acclimators? Pardon. I'm going the wrong way. Da 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 da. Nobody ever told him it's the wrong way. I went really far the wrong way. Yeah, it's tired time. Not under 2:30 at all. I have to wake up at 4:30. And then I have to leave my house by 8:10 so that I'm there early. Or if I get caught in traffic, then I have leeway time. I just accepted that I have to wake up at 4:30. But on days that I don't work, I'm planning on waking up around 6 so I can still keep the zoo roughly on schedule, but get like a little bit more sleep. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. But I'm surprised. I'm actually pretty okay with waking up at 4:30, which I was never like a wake up in the morning person. But I've never had to wake up at 4:30 before, except for like a couple of Counter-Strike matches. I got knocked on my butt. Yeah, that is quite early. It's not bad though. It was weird going to bed like at a normal time though. Like in bed by 9, like asleep by 10, like who am I? It was strange. That has not been my life since before my niece and nephew were little. Like that's a long time ago in a land far, far away. In a galaxy far, far away. It's like teenage years, living with my dad years. It's weird. It's very weird. To the other elevator. I should have let my stamina build up again. Oops. Really, really surprised though. Like when I used to have to wake up at 6:30 or 7:30, it was miserable. I hated it. It was so hard to wake up. And so far this has been okay. I did like a practice day of it on Friday though, and it was too weird having like strange hours in the morning. Like without having a purpose of like 8, 10 a.m. I didn't know what to do with myself, so I sat on my phone for 2 hours like a dingbat. Just scrolling. Like there was stuff to do, but did I want to do it at that point? No. I did not. Rebuild stamina for a second. There's no past tense in that statement. Counterintelligent. Does that mean they're unintelligent? My throat is so scratchy! Boo! It's annoying. Just spitting fire, turning around. I did hate it. It wasn't nice. It wasn't comfy. So apparently I'm either like a 9:30 a.m. girly or a 4:30 a.m. girly. Because those are comfortable wake-up times. Meow. Claudia's in charge now. She says, it's bedtime, woman. Come smooch me. Come smooch me. Okay, let me get to my next door and then we'll go to bed, girlfriend. You're doing things. I don't need to be bothered by you. Ha 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 ha. I just can't sleep in though. The zoo has to stay on routine. Like Claudia needs meds at a certain time. Dude is gonna get meds at a certain time. Oh, dang it. Dude still gets meds at a certain time for his eyes and his neck. Gunther and Zeke get meds at a certain time, and I think that's all for meds. So I can't deviate too much from work schedule on off days. Oh, and PB. Did I say PB? I don't know if I said PB. It's a lot of meds, now that I actually say it out loud. I don't think I can loot you. Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Let's get to a speeder and then pause there. Bro, I'm tired of these guys. I'm tired, Forrest. I'm tired. He's just floating. That's awkward. Bloop, bloop, bloop. It's such a lazy attack, but I like it. I like it. It's very peaceful music out here. It's very sleepy music. If I'm not in the heart of battle. Pew pew. This way. No more drama. Just run through the beautiful nature. It's so gorgeous out in here. The little valleys. The music is very sleepy vibes though. It is both helping and not helping. It's like music you would listen to like while listening to a guided meditation or something. It has that vibe. Oh, that's such a pretty picture through the doorway. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Should be a painting. A Boba Ross painting. But, I don't even know if that was funny, but to me it was. It's the little things in life. A bridge. I need to figure out how to use my speeder. A next time goal. Were you supposed to leave a fire there? I don't know about that. That looks unattended. Do you need to call someone? Looks dangerous. Saturday morning? Oh my god. I was taking the dogs out at like 4:45. And my neighbor was out burning leaves. But it was... the way that the smoke was bellowing up, it looked like it was almost coming out of like the back of my garage. But it was in his yard, thankfully, because I looked. I'm like, why the fuck does it look like my garage is on fire? But it smelled like burning leaves, and sure enough, my neighbor was burning leaves. Caddy corner behind me in the alley. Isn't there like rules for noise and burning and like yard work and stuff though? Like, I don't know, maybe you just had a lot of leaves to burn, but I think there's some kind of ordinance on that. Like, it should be only certain times of day, like, you know, like 7:30 to like 9:30 or something. Yeah, 10 or 11 p.m. Well, this was 4:45 in the morning. Perhaps 4:50. I feel like there's some kind of like golden general rule that just goes unspoken of like, don't cut your grass before 7:30. I don't know if that's actually a rule. It smelled nice. It just startled me because I thought my garage was on fire for God knows what reason. Thankfully it was not. Most places have an ordinance. I would think that we do. I don't know why we wouldn't. I hear you, Claudia. I'm getting to the transport, and then we'll do Eeps, baby. She says, Foster, Mom. Love me. Love me. Love me. I love her so much, and I can meet her needs as a foster, but I would not be... She would want attention 24/7, and I would not do her justice adopting her as much as I love her. She's such a sweet pea. She's such a nice cat. What are you targeting me with? Don't do that. Don't do that. That's rude. Rude. Neighbor behind you took it upon himself to disrupt your grandma's birthday party. What? Don't do that to grandma. Grandma is precious. You're doing non-stop yard work with loud shit. Oh, that's very rude. Aww. Your grandpa and your neighbor sang a whistle song to fuck with him, and he went inside. I mean, sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire, I guess. That's rude, though. How can you do that to grandma? Grandmas are precious. They bake cookies. They play pretend. They're magical. Actually, neither of my grandmas baked cookies, but like conceptually in my heart, the people they were cooking, baking grandmas, you know? In my soul. I might have done the Christmas stamped or like holiday stamped cookies with my mom's mom. Like the ones they do around the holidays that are like, they're in a tube and they're like pre-cut and they have like either like a pumpkin or a tree or something on them. So you can go this way or you can go that way kind of thing. I don't want to fight this guy. Yeah, move on, bushy tail boy. He has like a beaver tail. He's funny looking. He's cute, but he's funny looking. I could have taken the straight and narrow. Welp. Welp. See, exactly. Grandma's baked cookies. That's what they do. Security droid. Medical droid. Transport droid should be by the medical droid. Where are you? He's gonna be up there. Can I double bouncy? Really? You're so close. Yes. Good girl.
Vehicle pads are currently open for business.
Doot.
Have a safe and pleasant stay.
Alright. A cute little flight to remember. And then eep. I am the tired. So that means on roughly 6 hours of sleep, I can do a 4:30 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. day. Good job, Serena. Round of applause. That just means like the last hour of stream, you guys get the most tapped out version of me. Hope you have ball-free dreams. I hope so too. I don't know what I'll dream tonight. I've been having like weird anxiety dreams. I had the worst dream ever the night before I said goodbye to Marbles. I had a horrible night terror where the cancer in her face like split her face apart. It was like the worst mental image, and I don't know why I just made myself think about it again. But oh my god, it was awful. It was awful. And I woke up and I ran downstairs. I'm like, you're okay. And she was okay. But then that was the day that we said goodbye. That was Thursday. That was terrifying. Yeah, that was extremely haunting. I've had quite a few haunting dreams like that, and it's not pleasant. It was horrible. Like, it was a horrible mental image. It was not nice. I don't even know what I dreamt about last night. The night before, I dreamt I was at work. But, like, I couldn't find anything and nothing was there. Like, it was a very typical, like, work anxiety kind of dream. I'd like to think I won't be dreaming about dog balls, but you never know now. You never know. I don't mean like sleep deprived, unfiltered, just like physically, energetically tapped out. If you guys asked me to go check my mailbox right now and it's like 10 feet away from me, I would just be like, no, I'm tired, I'll do that tomorrow. It's not happening. Your girl is eeps. Just body tired. Feel tense. I'm gonna stretch and eat dinner and get some sleep. Head will be asleep before it hits the pillow. Perhaps. I was nodding out during my dinner yesterday. Like, oh my god, wake up. Wake up. You have to put your food away. Like, put your bowls away and your dishes away. And all of the other things. Instead, I was just watching TV and eating and like... But yesterday was a long day. We were there until 6 yesterday. But today we got out at 4, so that was nice. What am I looking for? There's my Spotify. I was tired yesterday after. Today, not so very much. So either it was a unicorn day or just an early day or I'm adapting. We'll see. We'll see. I do have more news-ish to share. But I took in way too much information this weekend and I need to go through it in my mind again, piece by piece, before I even open my mouth about it. Otherwise, I won't even know what I'm talking about. So if I manage to mosey on in tomorrow, I'll have some more about life to share. Some more. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. I kind of feel like that is my life. I'm sorry / you're welcome. I mean, like, it's never a dull moment, but there's always something. It's always something. Oh, I want my coffee, and my coffee is sweet. I made a little caramel cake cup thing, and it's, right now it's too sweet. It's like dessert coffee. Welcome, Boom Tiesto. You're just in time to say goodnight. You're just in time to say goodnight. How many words do good not fix energy figure for that you're eventually going to figure out? I'm typing this to fuck with you a little bit from the first word I read, because that's not a sentence that makes any sense. That's a run-on sentence. That's a gobbledygook run-on sentence. Banhammer. Bad grammar. I knocked it over when I was doing my makeup the other morning. Banhammer. I don't know how to do my makeup not at my desk. I am trained for stream. I'm well trained. I'm a well-trained dog. And now I'm going to take a cat nap. Thank you for an awesome nightclub cult. Thank you all for being patient with me the last few days. Thank you for being so mindful and sweet and understanding of the changing timelines. I look forward to extrapolating everything in my mind and being able to spew more word vomit at all you guys as soon as possible. I shall share all for the zoo. All the smooches. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you, Bebs, being here tonight. Thank you for being your wonderful selves. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your chats. Thank you for your company. And thank you for your support. More than anything, thank you for your time. Your time is very valuable. Whether it's for 2 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 hours. I don't see you again for 2 years. When our times collide, it is beautiful, magical, amazing, marvelous. And I am oh so grateful. Your time is very valuable. So please value it accordingly. It's one of those finite things that we only get so much of, and you can't just magically make more of it. So thank you for yours. It's very special. It's very precious. Thank you for being here for the stream, the Mad Topher. It was nice to see you. I missed you, Bibs. It was weird being away. I kept trying to have to talk myself out of streaming. Like, Thursday night, I was just too low. And then Friday, I was like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And then the rational part of my brain was like, no! You need to be up on time. You need to be responsible. You need to be mindful. You need to be meticulous. And then the fun part of my brain said, okay, eye roll. Saturday I was tired, but I still missed you guys. I got to see you tonight. So I'm grateful for that. Tonight was very chill, but very fun. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you all for your time. If you Bebs want to keep up with me offline, hop into the Disky Boo. Otherwise, we got the fun stuff, the socials, some more fun stuff, the sketch for when I will see you Bebs next. And thank you all for being a part of the Stream the Dreams project. I am so grateful, so grateful. And thank you also for all of your support, everybody, with all of Voya's care costs. It means the world to me. You all love the boy as much as I do. And thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I hope you all get some good sleep tonight. Get some good eats. Do me one favor and do not forget, until I see you next. My hair is so soft right now and it smells so good. I wish you guys could smell it. It's delicious. Do me one favor until I see you next, and that is remember that you are wonderful, amazing, spectacular, kind, phenomenal, oh so gorgeous, and all of the good things in the world. Take all those compliments and put them into my chair stuck in my blanket. Your back pocket, your side pocket, your cute little hoodie pocket, your adorable little shirt pocket, floating in suspended animation, or wherever it needs to go until I see you next. Fucking blanket. My sweet babos. You're not fucking blankets, you're my sweet babos. Make good choices, get good eats, get good sleeps. I shall see you all for the next one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And good nighty night. Good night, Club Gold. Get the best good EPs. I shall see you all soon.